It's time for Shawn and Maya in the morning.
Quick pitch to Walter, looking for the record, cuts back, he's got it, he's out of it at 25 and the 26-yard line. Walter Payton becomes the National Football League all-time leading rusher. Jordan, open, Chicago with the lead. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship. Chicago has won the Stanley Cup. Palmero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series.
A little bouncer slowly toward Bryant. He will glove it, throw to Rizzo.
It's in time, and the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Shawn and Maya in the morning on this hump day, pre-Thanksgiving Day edition. Guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm your boy, the Superback Shawn Sierra, and I'm fired up. You know what day it is. It is Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Means it's hump day. And you know what that means? That means my partner in crime is ready. She's ready to roll. Guys, listen, we got a great show for you. All right. But listen, we want you to make sure you follow us on all our platforms, okay? Make sure you follow us on the app. If you're watching this on the app, awesome, okay? Awesome. If not, download the app, okay? Download it wherever you get your apps from, Google Play, iTunes, Amazon, wherever. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, so if you're watching us there, or just on Facebook if you're watching us on Facebook. So, if you're watching us on any of those platforms, either of those platforms, thank you very much. Now, if you want to follow me, just me, personally online, want to know what I did? Let me tell you what I did. Want to know what I did? Here's what I did. I made it nice and easy for you folks. Nice and easy. One handle for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, the Snapper. All one handle at the Shawn Sierra. And oh yeah, she's ready. She's in the back. She got the robe on. She's bouncing up and down. She's shadow boxing. Man, I'm glad to bring her out. She is the one, the only, my partner, my co-host in this insanity. The one, the only, the incomparable, the uncomparable, the non-comparable, the unable to compare to. The can't even do it, Joe, because she's just the bomb. My co-host, Maya Kai. What up, Maya?
Oh, boy, doesn't that bring back memories. What's up, Chicago? Boy, that brings back memories. Yes. Yeah, one day before the day that everybody goes comatose. What about that?
Yep, Trip defends a son of a gun, boy. It's a son of a gun.
Somebody made a comment, and I said, I don't think I consciously do this. But now that you've mentioned it, I'm going to think about it. That the day of Thanksgiving, nobody eats breakfast or lunch, so they can absolutely eat ungodly amounts of food for dinner.
Yeah. Well, depending on what time you have dinner, like some people have it at 3, because especially if you got a big family. So then you got to boom, 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 boom. We got to go here. We got to go to grandma's house. We got to go to this house. So then you start eating early or then you don't eat early, because you're going to grandma's house. You're going here. You're going there. But if you're not eating until 5 or 6 o'clock, then you'll have something like 11 or 12.
Okay, this is funny. You literally have. See what I mean? I just put that small little nugget out there, and you just expanded out a whole game plan. Well, obviously, no one should be going to anybody else's house. So I'm assuming people should be having dinner earlier this year.
This is true. Not a lot of people. There are going to be some people who are just stuck on stupid and going to continue to do what they're going to do.
Right.
But I think there's a lot more people who are really mindful of the situation that's going on, and they're not going to go out. I know most of the people that I know, it's just it's shrunk. It's just the immediate family. It's just So, and I get it, and it should be. It should be, especially in this day and age. Things aren't the same as they've been years before. Because you know what? I don't know if anyone knows this, Maya. Thanksgiving's coming again next year. It's coming again next year.
Well, there tends to be these holidays. They seem to keep coming back around. But see, that's the problem with catastrophic thinking. People take something like this situation and act like it's never going to end and it's the last time I'm going to get to do something. But we know that it's not true. But yet this is how people have been thinking, making their situation worse. They're catastrophizing everything. You're right.
Everything.
Guess what? There'll be another Thanksgiving. There'll be another Christmas. You'll even probably have another birthday. All these things will come back around again. There will be
over there.
There will be another summer.
Stop, Maya. Come on now. Now you're just talking. That's crazy talk over there. Stop.
And especially if you're healthy.
With your new specs.
Yeah, I just think they have this influence over me. I swear to God. But especially if you're healthy and you push through this, guess what? You have a host of things that are going to happen again. So keep in mind for maybe the people who didn't make it, who won't have these things. This is the reason to think beyond yourself and have some empathy and do the things you're being asked to do so we can get through this.
Bingo. Thank you, Betty Mosh. That's perfect. That's perfect. Well, listen, we got a great show, but we need you to get interactive with us today. And the chat lines are ready on fire. Burning. What's up, Papa? He's getting ready for the next Bears L, baby. You and me both, man. I hear you. Hey, I'll tell you why they're going to lose on Sunday. I will tell you. A valid statistic. Not only do I know they're going to lose because of but there is actual empirical evidence to show you that the Packers are going to beat the Bears. And then we have Marlene. Ate 3 times that day. Oh my goodness gracious! Great balls of fire. She's going to eat 3 times tomorrow. You go, girl. You go.
But if that's her norm, then she's obviously. It's probably, if you think about it, her way makes sense because then you're not being gluttonous. But Thanksgiving is about gluttony to begin with.
It is.
When you're taking that cardinal sin and throwing it right out the windows for all my Catholic, fam. But if you think about it, if you probably do eat 3 times that day, you're probably less likely to eat more because you're used to doing that.
Because and you can't stack up if you're eating 3 different places or 3 times. You can't max out time 1. All right, you can't. So you have a little bit here, and then you have a little bit of 3 or 4 hours later, and then a little bit 3 or 4 hours later, and then you just kind of pick at the end, like it's late night, like let me see any mac and cheese left, any ham left, because somebody always cuts the ham, so ham's always one of the easiest things to because ham's good hot or cold.
True.
So you can always just let me just go see and rip one slice of ham off. What are you doing over there?
Huh? What? Nothing. What makes you think I'm doing something? No.
Just coughing. So I've heard. That's what I've heard.
Right. Yeah. Sounds like there's a lot of familiarity with this, but okay.
Yeah, I've talked to my friends.
Okay.
Oh, you know what, guys? You know how we do. Well, first of all, we have a great show for you. At 10 o'clock, we got our guy, JJ Stankovitz from NBC Sports Chicago. He's going to tell us why the Bears are going to lose again. And also about the new, what he thinks or who he wants back at quarterback for the Bears on Sunday night. They're playing it close to the vest. Very hush, 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 hush. Oh, for all my 80s people.
Okay. Okay.
I'm glad you got that, because anyone not born when we were born definitely didn't get that.
Right, that's not one of those songs that's just you're going to instantly know because it's not heavy in rotation. Some songs from the 80s are still being played.
Yes, that one definitely is not.
But that's one that's not in heavy rotation by any means. Yes.
Oh, that's crazy. Well, so JJ Stankovitz at 10 o'clock, and he's going to call in, and we're going to talk a lot of Bears football. But guys, you know how we do. The first segment of every show is called Top of the Morning to you. And these are the hot topics of the night before or just some sports in general. And boy, oh boy, do we have some doozies. Oh, that's right. We almost forgot. He's like, hold on, player.
That's all you do? That's how you do? You just forget about me?
Well, you've been sick the last couple of days, man. I didn't want to bring you on and have you talking. You did a whole bunch. You got a lot of talking tomorrow.
I
know you just busted my balls, but hey, since you're here, guys, you know how we do. Here's our guy. He is the whiz. He is the guy. He's the man behind the curtain. He is our Puerto Rican Swiss Army knife himself, Ivan Vargas. Ivan, what's up, Papa?
I'm good now.
I thought you were in the bathroom still. I thought you were in the bathroom.
No, I'm good. I'm just busting your balls. What's up, everybody? It's gonna be a good show. I can't wait to ask JJ a couple questions. Actually, man, there's some things that he asks in his interviews when he talks to Matt Nagy. I'm just like, man. Sometimes I feel like there's just a slight dismissal from Matt Nagy. You know what I'm talking about? Just a slight dismissal of questions.
Yeah, he is. Good, but we got JJ 10, and he'll be
glasses.
I know. Everyone liking your specs. Are those like those transitions where they put in sunglasses where you walk in like bam?
Nope, they're just my glasses.
They're not bam.
No, I thought about it because I might get another pair. See, that's the thing about. Once you get glasses, I got these like from a certain eyeglass place. Personally, felt like I totally overpaid for them.
Okay.
But once you get your prescription, then you can go to all these other places online and get a ton of glasses for a fraction of the price.
Okay.
So now I'm about to go on this glasses tear and get like 4 or 5 other pair of glasses. So yeah, because I've been waiting my whole life to wear glasses, but I didn't need them until I turned about 45.
You've been waiting?
I've always wanted to wear glasses, but I didn't need them until I crossed to the other side, over 40. And then
waiting to wear glasses?
I love glasses. Are you kidding me? It's like the epitome of a nerdy person. Like you've always wanted to wear glasses. Like that's a nerd. Like that's part of your uniform. I didn't need them. I used to wear glasses, like fake glasses, because I like glasses so much.
I had to wear glasses when I was in school, and I never wore them. Thank God I was smart. I was smart. I copied off the right people. Jesus.
Oh, God.
Tell you.
Yeah, no, I've always wanted to wear glasses. Seriously. And finally,
you're like, oh my God, I can't see. Yes, I can't see.
Well, it's not like the strongest. Like I'm nearsighted, so it isn't like the strongest. It's not like the strongest prescription. Okay. I think it really comes from years of just computer work. To be honest, too much. But yeah, so
were you not a candidate for LASIK?
Of course I could be, but I want to wear glasses. Okay. So I don't want LASIK.
I don't want LASIK, damn it! I want my glasses.
And nor do I want contacts. I want glasses.
I had contacts, and I don't know if one's still up in my head somewhere. I'm not sure.
You know what? I can't do that. I tried that one time, and I was like, I don't understand how people do that.
But you're a woman. You put makeup on. I don't have a problem touching my eyebrow.
Inserting things in places is not always as easy as people think, right?
Yeah, especially when you're beginning. But that's another story.
Just saying.
Especially when you're a teenager. Just like, what the hell am I doing?
Oh, teenager. Oh my God. No. Anyways, the challenges of the teens. Anyways, let's progress. Okay.
I digress. Well, guys, you know how we do the first segment of every show. It's called Top of the Morning to you. And these are the hot topics of the night before, just the sports in general. And boy, oh boy, do we have some doozies. And the Top of the Morning segment is powered by the Chicago Crusader newspaper. And with that, we bring in our guy with his Dr. Huxtable sweater on again. I love it. He's a man over there. He's a man over here. He's a sports editor over there. He's our good friend. And you can find him on Twitter at ACA Joe. Let's bring him out. Joe Phillips. Joseph, what's up, Papa?
What's up, Papa? God bless.
Dr. Huxtable, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing blessed, man. Just an amazing week. Thanksgiving's tomorrow. Can't wait.
So you going out getting hammered on Black Wednesday tonight? No?
Why is everything black this, black that? I don't like that.
Yeah, that started with the slave trade. That's what.
Yeah, I'm not
Black
feeling
Friday.
Black Wednesday, Black Friday. Then no.
Yeah,
it's a reason for people to be excessive and do bad stuff and act out. No, I don't like this. I'm changing it.
Yeah.
Are you changing it?
Having Black
Where's the new glasses?
They've been having Black Friday through the whole year.
I know.
Hey, wait a minute. Isn't this funny? They're having those sales. Okay, they've had them for the last 2 weeks. It's like, oh, Black Friday's here now. People are out of a job. People lost their jobs. You only got one $1,200 paycheck.
Let's be honest, though. But see, here's the thing. Everyone didn't lose their job. Plenty of people are still working. Now, there are people clearly that lost their jobs. Some people picked up work. I'm going to tell you something. And I hate to always be the person who has to be an arse about stuff. You might have to get a job you don't like in the interim. But I'm going to tell you something. Because Amazon is taking over the world, literally, they need people. And they pay relatively decently. Seriously. A lot of online procurement places need people. Right now, if you weren't a truck driver, it's the best job in the world to have. Because things have to be moved. So if people really are gainfully unemployed and they want to think about ways they can get a job, it's there. But people have been shopping all year. Seriously. Because think about it this way. If you were still working and you didn't have money, you didn't go to dinner, you didn't spend money at bars, people save money. Seriously. So online, the numbers actually with shopping have gone up.
They're trying to make it like Wall-E, the movie.
Oh my God, Wall-E.
The guy never leaves his chair. Everything comes to him. You don't want to be like that.
Well, no, but I mean,
I'm looking forward to things opening up again. Hopefully, they don't make anything mandatory where they just shut down everything and lock everybody in the house.
Man, tell me about it. Although my guy, this new place that I got to try out is called Output. They're open till 11 every day. They have a tent over their parking lot, so they clear the parking lot out and they have a tent. So that's the only way you can go to places, dine in the city proper. Is you have to have outdoor seating, so you're indoors, outdoors.
Wow.
But he's got a big tent there, and what's really cool is so he's got two big 70-inch projectors, two 70-inch screens, one on each side, which, when in a big place like that, they're not very big. It's big enough. But then he also has a projector onto the tent. So like you got like a 30-foot screen, which is pretty cool. But anyway, I digress. Hey, Joe, how you been, Papa? Everything good? How's the family?
Yeah, everything's great, man. I'm doing blessed, man. And,
little man,
we did all our Thanksgiving shopping yesterday. Little man will be over on Thursday, so it should be amazing. Good.
Well, let's get into some sports, guys. The first top of the morning topic. Oh man, this is going to hurt big time. It's not bad enough already against the Packers. Eddie Jackson gets put on the COVID-19 reserve list. Rumor has it, or what I've been reading, it's not that they're not scared he has COVID. They're scared he's been exposed to somebody who has it, so they're a little concerned. But what would that mean if Eddie Jackson doesn't play on Sunday due to COVID?
That's a real day for Aaron Rodgers, for sure. It's going to, like he always does, he picks our safety and corners apart just with his ability to read plays. So with Eddie Jackson, out, that's going to make it much easier for Aaron Rodgers, which he's already, he pretty much
owns us.
So it's the same. It's going to be the same thing, but it's just a little bit more, pretty much a little bit more emphasis on it,
Maya?
I mean, look at it this way. So the Packers get a loss to the Colts. Good game, by the way.
Very good.
Good defense who really kind of put Aaron Rodgers to the test. So they're looking for a bounce back win. This is a game, even though they're better than the Bears, they've been beating the Bears for decades now. It's still a game that they get up for. Aaron Rodgers loves to dissect the Bears. Seriously.
My God.
Whether he was present or not, because there's so many other issues that go well beyond him not being able to play, the offense alone is enough to cause an issue for them not to win the game. So even if the defense shows up and plays their best game all year, the offense, if they can put 17 points on the board, they'll be lucky. And Green Bay is going to score more than that. So, I mean, to me, it's a deflection. It's a way to get people not focusing on the real issue. Legitimately, is the offense can't score.
Right.
Yes, I agree with you. The next top of the morning topic, and here's why the Bears are in a tough position. Okay, Vernon, are you ready? You ready, baby? Green Bay Packers under Matt LaFleur are 5-0 after losses. So they have not lost 2 games in a row under Matt LaFleur in the season and a half, 2 seasons he's been with the Green Bay Packers. So that's another bad omen for the Bears. You got an offense that can't score. You don't even know who your damn quarterback is. You got an offensive line who are made up.
What does it matter? Matter?
Well, it doesn't matter because you got an offensive line made up of semi-pro players, and that's not a knock on semi-pro players, but the disparity from professional to semi-professional is huge, and the gap is like that of the Grand Canyon. So it doesn't really matter who's behind there for the Bears. You're going to be on your ass. You're going to be running. If you're Mitch Trubisky, if you're Nick Foles, you're really not running that much, and so you're just going to be under duress all game. And
you know what? Just have a rotating quarterback. Just like take people in, just use everybody. Use the element of surprise. You never know what you might get.
You know what, Maya? They could do the same thing that New Orleans did before Breeze decided to break 11 of his ribs, excuse me. But like with Taysom Hill, and they could have done that with Mitch Trubisky. If that's you could have used his legs as a weapon. But the only problem with that is you don't have an offensive line to block for him. So, and then he comes in one play after week 3 and tears his shoulder out of its socket. Like, oh, that's real nice, buddy.
Apparently he wasn't attempting to do that, Shawn.
Not playing made you soft, pal.
I don't, and it's back to, so now it's funny. We're back to Mitch potentially. I don't put the onus fully on Foles that he can't play at a level you expected. Because let's be honest, the line is an issue. When you can't get a three-stop drop into in a shotgun, you have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
That just tells you how bad the offensive line is, that he can't even get enough time to get that for the play to even unfold. I mean, so I know it's the blame game with the Bears. It's consistently the blame game. where it's got to be the quarterback's fault. I put everything back on Nagy. I put everything back on Pace because, to be honest, when we looked at this line, we knew it wasn't necessarily the greatest. It was like serviceable, so to speak. But when Daniels went out and Whitehair went out, now you knew you had issues because there was no depth. And the one thing we know about O-lines is that they're homegrown, is that you draft and you develop them. And they were in that process. And if you happen to pick somebody up, like the guy they picked up from Seattle,
Jermaine Ifedi,
send Ifedi back to where he came from, because the reason he is free is because he sucked in Seattle. People don't let good O-linemen go unless they're about to put you out the pasture or you just suck. It's kind of like a player like Leno. When you decide to turf him, who the hell picks him up? Because he sucks. Seriously.
The Bears offensive line is so bad. They make every NFL team look like the 85 Bears defense. And that's ridiculous. I was watching the 85 Bears defense last night, and I was like, man, guys, they didn't even have 1 second to throw the ball, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, like, they were blitzing on every play. And that's what our offensive line looked like. Like we giving up 1 second blitz backs, and it's just unfortunate that no one can block on our line.
No, I mean, like nobody can block.
And this is a scathing indictment of Ryan Pace. And, because of the fact that you didn't pour into that offensive line. The highest round, the highest picks we have are second rounders, and you can't win with that. And there's no offense to James Daniel, because I think James Daniel's done great. And no offense to Cody Whitehair, but you need 1 or 2 first rounders on an offensive line if you're going to do good. So you give me 2 first rounders, 2 second rounders, and then the last one can be a third rounder. He can be an undrafted free agent, doesn't matter.
Right.
But you need to develop. You need to bring those people in. You need studs on that offensive line, because football is played from the inside out.
Shawn, here's the thing, though. It's the culture of the NFL, and here's what you got to keep in mind.
Mm-hmm.
O-linemen are the unsexy part of the game.
Very unsexy.
Nobody cares about you until you're not doing your job. Then you become a topic of conversation. But not until that point does anybody, it's not just the Bears, nobody overly invests in the O-line. So when you see high picks in the draft on offense, it's always like running backs, receivers, things of that nature. Nobody, because here's the thing. The trend has always been that O-linemen will always still be present, because James Daniels, and I'm not just saying this because he's a Hawkeye, but maybe I am, but I'm not. No, because honestly, his coming out the combine, he got high marks for his play at Iowa. He did. And he's playing out of position, but to be honest, he was a center. I do like him. I don't think he did well at center in the NFL, but I also think he didn't come in starting there. So when they put him there, it just didn't quite work. So I'm okay with you moving people, and I think he does a great job. In fact, I remember the game last year when the Bears played the Rams. He stayed step for step with Donald. He was right there. He was excellent. So I'm not saying that I'm not giving Pace, like, I'm not going to sit here and roast him, because it's a trend in the NFL to not draft O-linemen early. But my thing is, you got to look at where your need is and not worry about what the trend is in the NFL. Right. And the thing is, they're going to probably be back chomping their bits looking at a quarterback again. You're going to ruin somebody else's career. I was like, if they lose every game in the league, I would never want a quality quarterback to come here, because I fear for them, because this organization doesn't get it. Even if they could get someone like Trevor Lawrence, I'd be like, oh my God, please don't do this to him. It's not fair, because they've ruined every person's career that's ever come here. How that's possible, I have no idea. I don't know if it's just, we talk about there's a curse on the north side with a goat. What is the curse with the Bears? There's something clearly there.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
I think the curse is
I look at the Bears offensive line like this. You know how some NFL players complain about publicity because no one can really see their face due to their helmets being on their heads. Mm-hmm. So I think our offensive line is so bad that people actually recognize their faces. Like if you look at the name, you'd be like, okay, he's with the Bears. You know Charles Leno's face when you see him. Okay, get rid of him.
Unfortunately. Unfortunately, we know his face.
If I saw him in public, I would probably, and I'm not one to be a negative person. That's not true. Let me not lie.
Oh, okay. I'll say, hold on.
I stopped myself.
Hold on, negative Nancy. What are we talking about over here?
I would be like, you suck, and you stealing checks from people. I would say that. You are. I remember. Okay, so this is a good thing to bring up. So we do on What's Up Cuz on Monday nights at 6. We do a weekly poll with the Chicago Crusader. and they had a question about which Chicago player is stealing checks from their team.
Uh-huh.
To be honest, Leno probably should have been on that list. It was like Chris Bryant. It was Mitch. Mitch was on there. Felicio was on there. Who was the other person, Joe? Who was it?
They had what's the White Sox name?
Or was it a guy from Blackhawks? Was it Seahawks?
It was
Edwin Encarnacion.
Yeah.
And it should have had.
Actually, we could have had a list. We could have
it could be like 10.
Like Leno probably should have been on. Matter of fact, we want to encourage more people to do that. So go to the ChicagoCrusader.com. This week's question is asking about how you feel about the Bulls draft pick coming out, for the NBA draft. So go check it out. Vote. We should get more people to do that. But that's one we should have shared because Leno should have been on there. Not just Mitch, but Leno should have been on there.
Yeah, Leno is a new candidate, because he's been actually creeping past the polls. He's been creeping past the sports writers. I don't know how he does it. He has the chameleon effect. No one can see.
No, he don't. You know what? He is so bad. I think they just ignore him.
Maya, thank you.
He's a negative. He's it's like he's a negative charge. He is so bad. Everyone just looks away. You see a car accident and you kind of look away like, oh, I hope nobody was hurt.
His coaches don't see him for some reason. Remember how you kept saying, how is it that he still has his job?
How did he come back this year?
You know how he has a job. The only reason cash rules everything around me. Ryan Pace decided to give him a whole bunch of money for some stupid reason, and they paid him. So they're not. That's the only reason. It's the politics of professional football. It's horrible. But when they paid him all that money, guaranteed him all that money that they paid him, they're like, well, we're not going to get rid of him because we're still on the hook for his guaranteed money. So they're going to play him. And that's unfortunate because he's horrible. You know what? People don't want to talk. The press doesn't want to talk to J. Charles Leno because they don't care what he has to say. You're just going to lie to us. What can you say? What can you say? Except I suck. If he said I was horrible, then I'd be like, okay, now you're talking. Now you're on the right path. But there's nothing you can say. I think I've had a good year. I think no, you haven't.
But
can you get him on the show?
No. Okay, you can do it on a day I'm not here.
We can do some Q&A.
Because I would give him the side eye the whole time. Dude, you suck. Someone like that. If he has a wife or a girlfriend, I'd be like, you're an embarrassment to me. Do you know when I sit around with my friends how they talk about you? He's an embarrassment to anybody who have to be connected to him. I'm serious.
When I pay for the $100 a person brunch for all the girls, you know what they say about you, you son of a...
Do you know how many Jimmy Joons I have to buy to get over this on a weekly basis? No, he's awful. But you know what, Joe? If he sat there in a press conference and said that the play is not acceptable and he sucks. See, that's actually the perfect marketing tool because now you're taking ownership of how bad you really are. It takes the wind out of the sail for people to be critical. Because then the next thing you could say, well, how can you be better? I think what the Bears should do is we have a position on the O-line available. Anybody on the practice squad who wants it, lay him out. Show me a better job. Make him work for it. But in the meantime, deal some pain.
What was Joe Madden? Embrace the suck. Embrace the suck. That's our guy. Okay. That's our guy, Charles Leno. Embrace the suck because he sucks.
Wait a minute.
And Bobby Madden.
Is that the whole Bears team? Is that this year's motto? Embrace the suck because it's 2020.
No, just the offense.
2020. It sucks. Asterisk. The Bears. Is that what that is?
We need to hire Theo. So
even Theo wouldn't mess with this. Okay.
Theo he'll tear it all up and build it up.
No, Theo. Okay, you know what? He would start doing things. See, the reason the McCaskies won't hire somebody who's competent is because they would do just that. They would look them in the eye and say, look, if you want to become a winning organization, sit down, shut up. I'm not even sure if she's still sentient at this point. So with that being said, if you pay me to do something, let me do my job and watch me work.
See,
but they're not going to do that. They're too. Here's the problem: the Bears, the ownership is hands on, and they're bad hands on. They're not even football people to me. I'm serious.
That's the problem.
They're not football people. I'm more football than they are. I'm not even sure what the hell that means. But yeah, no.
Maya, you hit it right in the head. Literally, smack dab on the head. That's the nail on the head. Okay, they are not football people. They are not football people, and we've been talking about that this whole time. That you need football people in decision-making roles, because you don't just think, well, the money. You think, okay, well, I need the best player at the best price, not just, is he cheap? Here, listen to this. J. Charles Leno signed a 4-year. Are you sitting down, Maya? Joseph, are you sitting down? Both of y'all. Are you sitting down?
Yes.
4-year, $37 million contract. Included a $4.5 million signing bonus and $21.597 million guaranteed. Guaranteed, average $9.25 million a year. This is what these jokers making. $9.25 million a year to be an usher, to be a turnstile. Hell, I could be an usher and a turnstile. Give me $9.25 million a year. I'll show you exactly where the hell my quarterback's at. He's right there. He's right behind me. Go get him.
Yeah, I think
but you know what? Here's the thing. I am for everybody who hates the Patriots, the one thing I have always, and people say it sounds really cliche, but look how well it tends to work. And this is the first time this season I have to say that it's not working. They don't draft based on who is the hottest pick coming out of the draft or out of college. They look at what player fits into their system. They're looking at, you know what it is? They're looking at legitimate skill sets in college.
Well, they're looking at someone fits their system.
Right. But they're also,
they can plug and play right in.
And they're like, there's a skill set here, right? Plug and play. They have the skills because maybe this school ran this scheme. It's similar to us, or they have this skill that will work good with what we have. They build based on talent, not based on hype. Because how many times have we seen college players make it to the pros and that skill level was actually only collegiate? That's it. You don't know who's going to be good. I mean, I knew Mitch wasn't going to be good. I knew that was a fallacy when it happened. I was like, what? When they kept saying his ceiling was higher than Mahomes, oh my God.
Well, at least Deshaun Watson, because we didn't really know about Mahomes. Deshaun Watson, we knew about Deshaun Watson.
Okay, or even Watson, but the thing was, I'm like, whoever said that, whatever Yahoo said that, I was like, that joker was looking at the floor. Because there was no way that ceiling matched. I was like, somebody's upside down dancing on the ceiling like Lionel Richie. That's all I can tell you. Because I was like, there's no way possible that could be the case. It's nuts. But I mean, that was the first scathing indictment. There was something wrong with the Bears. I was like, and then of course people took it personal and they said they just wouldn't, draft a black quarterback. I said, well, then do what everybody does for comfort. You draft Mahomes because he's a little bit of both. So hence the world likes a little bit of both. They elected a president because he was a little bit of both. So just do that. And look where that's gone. I mean, my God, it's crazy. And even if you didn't know about Mahomes, he was still better than Mitch in college. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
You know what? He was still better. I wouldn't even do that to Mahomes and Deshaun Watson.
I wouldn't either.
If we don't have an offensive line to block for you, it's over for you. That's
what Deshaun Watson's dealing with at Houston right now.
Yeah, that's what he is.
I know. So all those 500-yard games and 7 TDs, they go down the toilet once you have no offensive line.
Yeah, they damn sure do. Well, listen, we got to take a quick break, and on the other side of the break, we have more top of the morning topics. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
BoomerNaturals.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone. The Bears continue to get ready for this Sunday's matchup against the Green Bay Packers. 7:20 kickoff this Sunday night at Lambeau Field. Still no answers about who the starting quarterback will be. Head coach Matt Nagy continues to say it's a wait-and-see approach for Sunday. Mitchell Trubisky continues to deal with a shoulder injury suffered in Week 8 against the Saints. The hip injury to Nick Foles won't land him on the IR, but he's still questionable. 3 NFL matchups on tap for Thanksgiving. 12:30 Eastern, the Lions play host to the Texans. 4:30 Eastern, Washington visits Dallas. And at 8:20, the Steelers put their 10-0 record on the line at home against the Baltimore Ravens. Jed Hoyer is the new president of baseball operations for the Cubs. Introduced on Tuesday, he replaces Theo Epstein. Boomer Naturals, your source for 3-layer protective face masks. Breathable protection for adults and kids. Save 20% with promo code SPORTS at BoomerNaturals.com. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
Shop incredible Macy's Black Friday specials right now while supplies last and get the holidays' hottest deals before they're gone. Like cozy sweaters, just $39.99. Refresh the bedrooms in your home with 65% off Charter Club Damask and Damask Designs sheets and bedding. Then cozy up with matching pajama sets for the family, only $19.99 and under. Right now at Macy's. Plus, buy online and get contact-free curbside pickup or pickup in store today. Details at Macys.com/pickup. Savings off sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year, automatically, dollar for dollar. with no limit on how much you can earn. Extra cash? Come on, how amazing is that? In fact, it's even more amazing when you realize all the places where Discover is accepted. 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. So when it comes to Discover, get used to hearing yes more often. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2020 Nielsen Report. Limitations apply.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago on this pre-Thanksgiving Hump Day edition. As you see him with the crew, we got our guy, Joseph Phillips from the Chicago Crusader. And we have my lovely co-host, the one, the only, the incomparable, little savage herself, Maya Kai.
See, I get to have a build-up all week. So, you guys have to hash for this stuff like 3 times a week. I get to have a build-up. So I can just come on Wednesday and just be like Mount Vesuvius.
Yeah!
Right,
Go
just
crazy.
let it all go. Right.
And then recover the next 6 days. Like, okay.
And come back with more.
Come back.
Right.
Well, the next top of the morning topic, Maya, you'll like this one. I think this is a good thing. The Blackhawks signed Kendall Coyne Schofield, as a developmental coach. She's the first female in the NHL to have that position. She's part of their developmental squad. I think that's a great idea. She, he's like, well, why'd you hire a female? Because she's a bad mamma jamma. Okay, she's a bad mamma jamma. She played hockey at Northeastern University, out in Boston. Wicked pisser. Okay, she's been with the organization on and off in some capacity for the last couple of years, but she's going to be part of the developmental team, and I think that's great. When you get a girl who's a star, she's also part of the U.S. national team.
Yes,
she won 2 silvers and a gold medal with the U.S. national team. She's no joke.
No.
Or she was in the skill a couple of years ago. Remember in the NHL All-Star game, the skating competition, and just to be there, just to have her there shows you, she's not as fast as the guys, but she's still pretty damn fast. She would probably be an average to maybe below average speed, but I mean the guys are bigger, stronger, faster than her, and for her to hold her own like that, is amazing. So I think it's a great move for them.
It's the genetic design. I mean, men are allowed to obviously be physically more superior, but mentally and from intellect, that's where we supersede that. So great role to have her in, in the developmental side, using her mental skill sets and her physical abilities to make them better. So to me, it works out. Joe's laughing. He's like, did you just underhandedly tell me that men were stupid?
Yeah, that's what she did.
Blame it on Adam.
That's why I just gave it a gas face. I'm like, for all my people who don't know third base, that's all right. That's okay.
I was like, keep going.
No, I mean, I like it. Again, she's the right fit for it. You know what? I feel like the Blackhawks are a good organization to do it. If nothing else, we are seeing a lot of shifts in 2020 with opening the doors to opportunities for women and people of color, just like the NFL game that had its first black officiating. Okay, but here's a great. I kind of get a little the first of things, whatever. I want to see a first of just women officiating within. Just do it all. Just put the opportunity out there. In 2020, for all the things that I've seen, like it's been adversity, is also opening the doors and getting people to think outside the box, which I think is nice. So, you've obviously got the Marlins making a move. Now you got the Blackhawks. And actually, Jen Welter was doing stuff with the Cardinals at one point, football wise, and she played in the women's kind of football league, which is not exactly the same. So I mean, the trend has been there slowly, little by little. There's even someone who works with the 49ers.
Coach, one of the assistant coaches. She was the first assistant coach on the staff for an NFL team.
Yeah, I can't. I'm drawing a blank on her name right now. I can totally see her face. But so I mean, it's good. It's long overdue. Let's think outside the box. She might bring some refreshing kind of ideas and just different approaches to the game. So it's good. So I'm proud of the Blackhawks. We need something to distract us from the fact that we still are struggling.
Right. I thought it was a cool PR move by the Blackhawks.
I mean, because
once the fans heard that R word rebuild, they was like, "Oh, we out."
Okay, but that word already existed. That's the thing. They just were afraid to say it.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Katie Sowers is the girl.
Katie Sowers, yes.
The San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, she does the Surface commercial, the Windows Surface commercial. Yeah,
tablet. Yep.
No, but Joe, the thought crossed my mind. I was like, lovely, great. She's more than qualified for the job. So that's not it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But I did feel it was a subtle distraction, because things are about to be rough I'll be honest. What we saw in winning championships might be over. And two, the next big question becomes, are they going to be selfish as an organization and not let Taze and Kane go elsewhere to win other titles? Because the minute you put them on the market, here's a question. Do you do a White Sox move? And like how they dealt Sale and you got back all these pieces, and God, I cried because you know how much I loved Chris Sale. But look at see, Rick Hahn knew what he was doing. I'm kind of questioning if the Blackhawks need some middle management moves. Bowman may not be the right fit anymore, but that's neither here nor there, because he's also dealt some contracts out that weren't all that great. And I can't say his recruitment in regards to what he's drafted. Remember, Dale Talon was kind of more the mastermind of what you saw behind those Stanley Cup teams. So Bowman has done nothing to impress me at this point. So that might be the question mark that has to be looked at. You know, the only team right now in Chicago that might have their management team in place that makes sense is the White Sox.
Say it, Maya.
I'm not saying it to be mean. I swear I'm not being a homer. I'm not. But the Bears, the struggle is real. The Cubs are in a rebuild. The struggle is real. The Blackhawks, the struggle is real. To be the Bulls, the struggle is real. But I like the moves the Bulls.
They're on the right path.
They're on the right path. They've made that shift. They got competent people kind of driving the bus. So I like it. And then the White Sox have competent people until they brought La Russa into this. And now I'm like, hold up, player, what you doing? But that's not a Rick Hahn move, and I know it's not. So if it falls apart, Jerry, this is your fault.
Yep.
If we miss one hiccup this season because La Russa can't stay awake or he's drunk, we're going to have a problem.
Hey, we got
the wheel.
Hey, my thought is this. Look, you're at Sox Park, okay? You're literally on the Dan Ryan. You're most likely going to live downtown. Take a damn Uber. They're paying you millions of dollars. Take a damn Uber. Hop the red line. See the strange people that live in Chicago. Okay, just hop the red line. It'll be a 3 or 4 minute ride. Okay.
Based on age, we know La Russa's not going to do anything with the L. Okay.
Hey, he's going to be like, he's going to see the loose cigarettes CD tapes man on a red line. You don't want to.
He's not doing that, and people will know. And people will know who he is. Two, I don't.
You got a drink?
Stop. You want to pour a little in the corner with us? No. I also don't think he'll do an Uber or Lyft because, again, he's from that generation that they don't really embrace that. So to me, the only real answer for La Russa is just to get a driver. He's Italian. Go get a driver. That kind of works.
Forget about it.
Go get a driver.
Hey, we got a clip of the Blackhawks talking about Kendall Coyne Schofield. Let's check it out.
Blackhawks are hiring U.S. women's team captain Kendall Coyne Schofield as a player development coach for the organization. The Palos Heights native is going to spend most of her time working with the Blackhawks AHL affiliate in Rockford. Coyne Schofield is the first female development coach in franchise history.
I was a little girl growing up in the Chicagoland area playing the game because I loved it. And this is where it's taken me. And I think there's a lot of young girls, maybe in this area and beyond, that are looking at this today and saying, wait, I can do that too. Whether that's a coach or a GM, I think the sky's the limit.
That clip courtesy of CBS Sports and NBC Sports Chicago. That's how huge is that, Maya? I mean, we talk about it in the Black community and in the minority community when you have representation. When you see someone like, oh, damn, I can do that. That's not impossible anymore because it's being done in front of my eyes. Yes. It inspires. You talk about the minds that it unlocks in those specific demographics. I think that's phenomenal for young ladies moving forward. I'm
going to tell you something. A lot of girls have been playing hockey for a while. I have 2 friends, their daughters played hockey. It's not new. You just don't hear a lot about it. There are actually a lot of NHL teams have affiliates. And actually, another show you should watch comes on tonight at 8 p.m. Sports 101 with Jamar Harp, who always just drops knowledge. Phenomenal. He will make you the smartest person in the room with the information he shares. I swear to God. People will think you were brilliant. You'll be like, thanks, Jamar. Seriously. But he did a thing about kind of blacks in hockey. And what I didn't realize is there's several teams that are girls as well as boys that are pretty much multiracial, predominantly black. A lot of girls play hockey. And I was like, and the 2 girls actually play locally and then travel to Detroit because the Red Wings have a team that they play on. So it's growing. And especially in the college ranks, you get that as well.
When I was at Holy Cross in Worcester, Massachusetts, this is years ago, because we know I'm not very young. They started. I mean, but I mean, it was bigger out east. Hockey was bigger out east, more so. But they had it started off as a hockey club, and one of my girls, Jen Kaplan. What's up, Capper? She was on the hockey team, on the hockey club, and now it's an actual sport for Holy Cross out there. So I think it's great. There's just so many, it's another way for women empowerment to have them do things. You want to play a sport, then play the sport. You want to play baseball, then play, okay, your softball, fine. You want to play basketball, fine. You want to play football, fine. You want to play hockey, fine. Why can't you play a sport? And you know what? Now they can.
I mean, there's no reason to. There's so many opportunities, and I understand. Okay, the thing about certain sports, let's be honest, certain sports are really about exposure. So if you happen to be a minority that lives in a traditional minority area, let's say you're urban, let's be honest, you're going to get what are the basic sports of basketball, football. You might get baseball, you might. But those sports where it really is more club or team and it requires additional fees and it's not played in school. So that's the key thing. You get less asset to it. We talked about this. Put an ice rink in the hood and you will have more black people in the NHL than you ever seen. First of all, I'm gonna be like, man, this is kind of like roller skating on blades. You know how black people are. It's just goofy. We're goofy like that. But you do see. But look what you see when you have black players that have matriculated to the NHL. Look how good they are. I'm not trying to like throw shade at anybody. So don't misread what I'm saying. But look what happens when you have a lot of African Americans that do those sports that are exclusive, like gymnastics, tennis, hockey. Look at the ranks that some of those people rise to. But the access isn't there.
See, because those are expensive sports, Maya. And if you're dealing with urban kids, I mean, it costs. Ice time is, you're on mute. Ice time is expensive. Ice time is super, super expensive.
No, it's very expensive.
So for them to get it, and then also let's keep it real. I mean, if you know people who played hockey or whose kids have played hockey, their ice time's at 12 o'clock, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. in the morning because the rink is filled until that particular point. So now, you got to go to work, but you got to take your kid to, ice time at 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, there's the hockey mom. There's the soccer mom. Is a reason. That's what they do. I'm not trying to be mean. So please don't misread like I'm saying that other parents can't do it. It's just the time you have to schedule to get your kids to these extra practices and then the cost. And then they're usually traveling teams. I mean, I've got friends who their sons and daughters play like traveling baseball or softball and they pay a grip for this stuff. I'm serious.
It's an investment. It's definitely an investment.
It's an investment. So, I'd be like, you better get a scholarship on this.
And
we ain't got no hobby. We have no hobbies. I need you to get a scholarship on this.
And plus, a lot of black parents don't have time to wait, because their jobs, a lot of times when a lot of black parents are working, a lot of times their jobs don't allow them that type of flexibility, and then sometimes they have to work more hours during the week than most, than most white parents do. So, most brothers move to Canada to play hockey, which is a good idea.
Don't move to Canada.
A lot of hockey moms up there. Okay, just right with
those people are generally not even Americans that are transplants in Canada. Those are like, Caribbean Afro black people.
I noticed I was reading the profile because I did a show. I had a radio show called the SC Media Network show. And
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, we did the Blacks in Hockey. So, we just talked about most of these guys were born in Canada, like that's amazing,
I mean, I'm trying to think of all the current NHL black players. I swear to God, I think they're all Canadian.
Yeah. Grant Fuhrer.
Grant Fuhrer was a man. He was one of the first.
I mean, Iginla, the Subins.
Yeah.
I don't think that any of them, but then again, let's be honest, with hockey, the ones that tend to matriculate to the NHL, even if they're white, tend to not necessarily be American. That's why Kane was such a big deal. He was this 18-year-old kid. He's from Buffalo, right? New York. Yep. Even in hockey, the foreigners tend to infiltrate that sport. And that's the one sport that Americans have not been able to dominate.
because the Europeans have also started dominating as well. So what you'll have is
Damn
you'll have,
Europeans.
if you're not from Canada, you're going to be north. You're going to be by the border. So you're going to be from Buffalo, New York. You're going to be from Minnesota.
Yes,
You're going to be from North Dakota. You're going to be in those. Really, you know what? It doesn't really go past North Dakota. Like you don't hear the kid out of Washington State is a great hockey player. It just seems like stop at North Dakota for some reason. But you're usually up in the northern part of the country because it's colder. And so hockey is a sport that's a little more predominant up there because then not a lot of black folks or people of color like to live up in near Canada.
Just saying.
Seth Jones he was born in Arlington, Texas.
Who was?
Seth Jones.
That's right. Popeye Jones' son. Okay, you're right. I'm sorry. I did forget about him, and I guess he's really good.
He's the exception.
But wait a minute. What did you say? Whose son was he?
Popeye Jones, basketball. Totally different.
So basketball is and Seth Jones plays hockey.
Yeah. I mean, totally different.
But what I'm saying is, so Popeye Jones made how much money in his career, and how much, you know what I mean? So he had the flexibility to where he had to, his mom could have been a hockey mom. Right. You know what I mean? That's the possibility. That money. Yeah. Real.
You're right, because it is interesting how people get into different types of sports, and it does have everything usually to do with your parents. So you're right, even though I'm pretty sure Popeye put a basketball in his hand. I know he did, but just
no, get that puck out of your hand.
And his mother was probably rocking pucks or something, in the crib or something when he was a baby. But you're right, your parents, if you think about what you played. So as a girl, I played baseball. My mother was like, I think you should play baseball. And I was like, really? And I loved it. Played softball and I hated it. I did gymnastics for a while, but realized that really wasn't my cup of tea because I started too late in life. And I feel like that's something you start kids out when they're really young.
Yeah, you look like you could be a gymnast.
Why? Because I'm short?
Yes. Short and powerful.
Too top heavy. Anyways.
This is true. Yeah. You're
Excuse
you. Like, there's only 3 flips mine, not 3.5. Like,
But I was a tumbler. See, the floor part was easy for me. I was a tumbler. So that was the easy part. But you're right. It's about exposure. Sports that people don't talk about. I just got a little roasted for not mentioning lacrosse. Again, though, that's a club sport that, what's interesting about lacrosse is I did have a friend who went to Sandburg. Her daughter went to Sandburg. And she actually played lacrosse the whole time she was there. And I was like, she plays lacrosse? I thought that was interesting. She goes, yeah, they were having tryouts. She liked it in gym class and decided that she would be on the team. And think about it. Those are the sports where there's probably like scholarships that exist, but you didn't think about playing. And something that Jamar told me about lacrosse, like this was months ago and it blew my mind, that Jim Brown was one of the greatest lacrosse players of all time. And I was like, Jim Brown? He's like, yeah. And I was
radical Jim Brown. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Right. And I was like, I would have never equated him with playing lacrosse in a million years. And we actually said we were going to do a show about those fringe sports, like those double sports that early athletes played. Mm-hmm. But I would have never pegged him. I would love to know. You know what? I don't know if anyone's ever talked to him about that, but I'd like to say, how in God's name did you start playing lacrosse?
Well, you go to Syracuse, and it's similar to that. Would like if Jim Brown had played hockey, you could understand it because you're in Syracuse, you're in northern New York, you're right by you're close to the border, and those are the sports that they play close to the border. And one of the guys when I worked in New York, I was a bond broker in the World Trade Center. One of the guys that in the office.
It didn't sound like you said a bomb, but I'm pretty sure.
Bond.
Clear that up, because you don't want anybody thinking, you could look like you might be able to be one of them folks. No, I'm just kidding. Let me stop being ignorant. People get sensitive, so let me stop that.
But he played on the lacrosse team with Jim Brown.
Are you serious?
At Syracuse, yeah.
Wow, but that kind of blew. But you know what? You're right, because when I think about it. Hockey, lacrosse, they probably have strong indigenous places. And little by little, even with soccer, they kind of started to come across the country. So that you said, I was like, yeah, but I was so surprised. But you're right, considering where he's from.
Yeah, where he went to school. Yeah. And remember, he was big. Jim Brown's a big man.
Yeah.
And we're talking back in the 60s, 50s, and 60s that he played. He was 225 back then. 225 is still a big person now. Imagine how big that was back then. And so now,
back then, a black man running down the field with a stick and a net might have been interesting.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe that's why he was an All-American. No one wanted to get in his way. Like, move. And he
man, you know what? That would be like opportunity to just knock somebody out and get away with it. He probably liked that.
Jim Brown was a mean joker.
Well, we see. Look what he did in the NFL. So that's why I said, "Oh wow, those double sports." But yeah, it's interesting. But back to like hockey. Evan Moore is someone great. He's like a hockey enthusiast that comes on the show and he's writing a book and all this other stuff. But there's a big history with a lot of, there's a long-standing history with African. I can't just say African Americans. That's not right. It's more like African diaspora in hockey. It's a very rich history that most people don't know because it's not the sport you generally see more black faces in. So it's the same thing with women in hockey. There's a lot of women that have been playing hockey for a while, but they're just not the face of hockey. So maybe this will encourage more girls to get involved. Kind of like when, Venus and Serena start playing tennis, more girls wanted to play tennis kind of thing. They inspired people. So maybe this hire will inspire more girls to want to get involved in hockey. It's a great sport. I like it.
Tiger playing golf, dude.
I'm sorry. I like to just.
You realize that Tiger probably had more of an impact and almost, I shouldn't say more, but almost as big an impact as Michael, because he literally built Nike Golf. And he literally had, there was really no golf department until Tiger came and started blowing everyone out of the water. And then that golf department blew up.
Well, he could build Nike Golf because Michael Jordan had made Nike a juggernaut. So he created the window for him to come in.
Mike set the blueprint.
Some people are Jackie Robinson. Some people are Jackie Robinson. Some people are Frank Thomas. It's just all when you come in. It's all when you come in.
No. It's different.
Take it to another level.
Real talk. Frank Thomas could have never been a Jackie Robinson because he was too ignorant and mean and cocky to be humble enough to ever be that guy. So we all know this. Jackie Robinson was not the most talented player coming out the Negro League. He was the most appropriate player for the role and the stress that came with what he had to do. Not discounting his talent, but real talk. Josh Gibson, oh man, Satchel. There's so many. People have no idea how many amazing players. And if you get into the stats and the numbers, but Jackie was the right guy. But you're right. He opened
the door, and there's other people who took the mantle from where he did and took it to another level. That's what I meant.
Well, Tiger did not take it beyond Mike. Ain't nobody ever said, I want to be like Tiger. He's great. People say, I want to be like Mike. You know how I feel about Tiger Woods. You know how I feel about him. No, I don't. I respect his talent. Just as a person, I don't particularly care for him.
Maya sees him. She's gonna take his golf club to his knee.
Oh no!
I don't have to do that. His wife already did that.
Again, I was gonna say the second time.
Base covered. I don't have to do
it. Hey, we gotta take a quick break. Hey, Joseph, thank you, Papa. We will see you on Monday because I believe we're off on Friday. Just give everyone. We talked to the bosses and they're pretty cool. And they said, we'll take Friday off and get some early shopping.
Still be in your coma. Are you cooking, Joe, or is your wife cooking?
Well, I'm supposed to be doing a cheesecake.
What?
No,
you're doing. Wait. You're doing a cheesecake. Are you doing a sweet potato cheesecake or something on Thanksgiving?
Cheesecake.
That's your contribution. Is you're making it? You're not cooking. Okay.
Yeah, you're not cooking. Well, I'm not. Neither. Usually we've made stuff before, but it was all. That's why we always would go to my cousin's house because we used to make when I first got back to Chicago and me and my mom we'd make it. I don't know what the hell we were thinking. We made turkey, we made a ham, we made mac and cheese, we made stuffing, and it's just the two of us. Like, what the hell are you doing? I could just go. Why are we spending all this time making it, prepping it, cleaning up, washing dishes? Although we have a dishwasher, but still. And we're like, just go to someone else's house, bring a pie or two, and you're good. You ain't got to clean up jack. You're good.
That's why I miss my grandma and granddad, because they always had Thanksgiving over their house, and everybody just flock over their home, stay into the weekend, and then go home. That's how it was.
Yeah.
Well, cool. We'll see you on Monday, buddy. You have a good weekend. All right. Listen, we got to take a quick break because on the other side of the break, we're going to talk to our guy, JJ Stankovich from NBC Sports Chicago, and he's going to let us know who he thinks. He just wrote an article. Make sure we're going to post it in SportsZone Chicago, who he thinks the Bears should start at quarterback Sunday night against the Green Bay Packers. So don't go anywhere, folks. JJ Stankovich coming up next right here. Shawn and Maya on SportsZone Chicago.
BoomerNaturals.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone. The Bears continue to get ready for this Sunday's matchup against the Green Bay Packers. 7:20 kickoff this Sunday night at Lambeau Field. Still no answers about who the starting quarterback will be. Head coach Matt Nagy continues to say it's a wait-and-see approach for Sunday. Mitchell Trubisky continues to deal with a shoulder injury suffered in Week 8 against the Saints. The hip injury to Nick Foles won't land him on the IR, but he's still questionable. 3 NFL matchups on tap for Thanksgiving. 12:30 Eastern, the Lions play host to the Texans. 4:30 Eastern, Washington visits Dallas. And at 8:20, the Steelers put their 10-0 record on the line at home against the Baltimore Ravens. Jed Hoyer is the new president of baseball operations for the Cubs. Introduced on Tuesday, he replaces Theo Epstein. Boomer Naturals, your source for 3-layer protective face masks. Breathable protection for adults and kids. Save 20% with promo code SPORTS at BoomerNaturals.com. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
Shop incredible Macy's Black Friday specials right now while supplies last and get the holidays' hottest deals before they're gone. Like cozy sweaters, just $39.99. Refresh the bedrooms in your home with 65% off Charter Club Damask and Damask Designs sheets and bedding. Then cozy up with matching pajama sets for the family, only $19.99 and under. Right now at Macy's. Plus, buy online and get contact-free curbside pickup or pickup in store today. Details at Macys.com/pickup. Savings off sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year, automatically, dollar for dollar, with no limit on how much you can earn. Extra cash? Come on, how amazing is that? In fact, it's even more amazing when you realize all the places where Discover is accepted. 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. So when it comes to Discover, get used to hearing yes more often. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2020 Nielsen Report limitations apply.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. And man, I am fired up to talk to my next guest. Fired the freak up. All right, we have I'm a Bears fan. I'm a meathead Bears fan. Okay, knowledgeable. Don't get me wrong. I have a pretty good pedigree, but I'm a meathead Bears fan, and I love talking Bears. It's one of my favorite guys that we have that I'm about to bring out to talk Bears. And what he said about his new article, I want to bring him out quick. Yeah, he works for NBC Sports Chicago, and I agree with him, and I disagree with him. So we're going to go back and forth, and I'm excited about it. You can find him on Twitter at JJ Stankovic. Guys, let's welcome back to Shawn and Maya, JJ Stankovic. JJ, what's up, Papa? How are you?
I'm great, Shawn. How are you?
I am wonderful. Maya's going to join us in a quick second, but I'm good. I'm good. I definitely wanted to talk about your article that you just wrote for NBC Sports Chicago about who the Bears should start on Sunday night. And there she is. There's Venus, our lovely Venus herself.
What? Anyways.
And you say, I'll let you say who you think the Bears are going to start or should start Sunday night against the Packers.
Well, the answer between should and will is the same. It's going to be Mitch Trubisky. The Bears are, if they're trying to hide who their starting quarterback is, they're not doing a very good job. On practice at Monday, I was up at Hallis Hall. Mitch Trubisky was present and Nick Foles was not. Today, just about 10 minutes ago, the Bears sent out their info for their press conferences today. Nick Foles was initially scheduled to talk to us at 10:45. We are just now talking to players with Matt Nagy talking after practice. So it would be absolutely ridiculous if the Bears did not announce that Mitch Trubisky is starting in Green Bay today. That is something that needs to happen today. I think it probably will happen today. If Matt Nagy wants to try to play gamesmanship with the whole thing, it's not going to work. I think the folks up in Green Bay are reading the same tea leaves we are. But, Shawn, the reason why I wrote that column about going back to Mitch, it was not because I think Mitch Trubisky is a better quarterback than Nick Foles. It's the offense the Bears were running when Mitch was their quarterback the first 3 weeks of the season. It helped the run game so much. Mm-hmm. They were using under center about double the rate with Mitch compared to going to Nick Foles. They were running it on first down 54% of the time. With Foles, they're only running it 35% of the time on first down. That's where you create an identity. The Bears with Mitch were trying to create an identity around the run game. They go back to Foles. It's now pass, pass, pass. They can't run the ball at all, and it's spiraled down to this 4-game losing streak. Look, I don't know if going back to Mitch is going to fix this season, if it's going to save this season. But at this point, we know what the offense is with Nick Foles. I think go back to that offense you were running in September. See if you can get something better out of it. And if you do, then stick with Mitch. But if not, it can't get worse than not scoring a touchdown on Monday Night Football, an offensive touchdown in 2 consecutive Monday Night Football appearances. It can't.
I feel like we have to take into account, I know, right, that the offensive line has probably always been their Achilles heel, but now you realize how much it is because of the lives of Daniels and Whitehair. There's no doubt about it. So even if you put Mitch back in, which it's interesting how, and we already knew this was true, but the conversation that came out was about, well, those plays where Nick Foles would see an opening and look at it, and by the time he thought to run, it was too late. And they're like, well, that's the one thing about Trubisky that wasn't, definitely an asset, is that he was far more physical and athletic and would have scrambled and tried to get extra yards. Well, now the issue is, even if they put him back, and to me, I feel like, despite the fact I don't want to see him, but putting Foles in is like, that's already saying we're going to lose the game, because his hip is not going to be, if he can't run when his hip is right, he's definitely not going to be running when it's wrong. Let's be honest. So why would you put him into the game with a physical deficit that's already part of not his strongest skill set? So I feel like you got to go with Mitch. But what about Mitch behind this line, which is far less in a position to give him what they gave when they were winning than what's happening right now?
Yeah, and you're absolutely right, Maya, because losing James Daniels was kind of the real start of the decline for this offensive line.
JJ,
he was their best player.
In case you didn't know, she's an Iowa Hawkeye, so anytime you mention an Iowa Hawkeye, she has a little dance. So
this is a pro James Daniels segment. But the thing with Mitch is, I think going back to 2018, Mitch was not sacked all that much, because that year it was like read 1, read 2, scramble. And that helped Mitch evade some pressures that, Charles Leno and Bobby Massey were allowing, maybe from the interior, whatever it was. And the offensive line is obviously worse right now than it was in 2018, than it was last year, than it was at the start of this year. But I think just Mitch's ability to sometimes sense that pressure. And if you just say, hey, go out there, and if that first read isn't open, if that second read isn't open, just take off. And you know what? At least get outside the pocket. If you keep your eyes downfield, whatever, or if you take off, whatever, and scramble, do whatever you want. But Nick Foles doesn't have that. Nick Foles has to be standing in the pocket. But the problem with Foles is that with this offensive line, he has not been able to sense when he needs to step up and when he shouldn't step up, because the protection has just been bad all around him. Mm-hmm. So on plays where he does need to step up because the tackles are kind of pulling back, he doesn't, because he's been getting hit from the interior so much. And on plays where he doesn't need to step up because the pressure is coming from the interior, it's like then he is, when the tackles might have had good pass protection sets. So it's just a complete jumbled mess that Mitch may or may not be able to get out of, but at least Mitch can run and Nick Foles cannot.
PTSD is all it is.
Yeah, well, which everyone will leave with. Why do you think, now mind you, we have a new play caller, which again, I don't feel that we will really see what Bill Lazor really is, because he didn't have time to put his playbook into action. Let's be honest. So what he's probably still doing is executing what Nagy already had. I don't expect him to learn a whole new set of plays at this point in the season. Maybe he can put things incrementally. So I feel like we're still seeing what Nagy might do in the first place. But what about being a bit more creative? Why don't we see, especially in a situation where your line is really struggling, why not do a 2 tight end set? Everyone's disappointed that we don't see enough Cole Kmet. You know what I mean? So why not be creative? Why not do using 2 backs? Why not try to do something different that is not customary for them, or just get the tight ends to do a bit more blocking, because you need them at this point, because the line is so decimated.
Well, I think that Vikings game was always going to be a tough challenge for Bill Lazor, because in the span of a couple of practices, it's really hard to totally change what you're doing, especially when you have the same quarterback in there. I think going back to Mitch, coupled with the off week, could have the effect of Bill Lazor maybe getting some plays in there he really wants to run that are a little more creative, that are maybe things that the Bears installed in training camp haven't used in a couple of months that don't fit what Nick Foles can do. That is something I'm interested in. I don't know. The thing I keep running into with this is I don't know if it's going to be that much better because the players are still the same.
Exactly.
But at the very least, they can run something different that might put them in a better position to have success. That doesn't mean they will because there are too many subpar players on this offense. But at least giving your players a better chance to succeed is something I'm interested if Laser can do coming out of the off week against the Packers defense that is pretty vulnerable.
Guys, we're joined by JJ Stankovic from NBC Sports Chicago, talking little Bears football right here on Shawn and Maya on SportsZone Chicago. You know, I think what Bill Lazor did last week, and I'm starting to become a Bill Lazor fan, and it's going to be determined this week how much of a fan, if I'm all in or out, because what he did last week with that offense, we'll call it, he went up tempo, which got the team on the defense on their heels, and there was actually a pocket for Nick to throw a couple of times early in the game. Later in the game, they had a collapse and it was all done. But it was a pocket there where he was able, and I don't know if he knew what to do with that pocket, truth be told. But I digress. I like what he's doing with the off week. I like the fact that he can say, okay, although I'm running Nagy's plays, okay, I don't like this one. I don't like this one. I don't like this package. I don't like this package. I like this package. I like this package. And let me add a couple of my plays too as well. And so that's why this game for me is going to be a big determinant on how much I like Bill Lazor, because if we start seeing if we keep seeing an up-tempo offense, which is going to be beneficial for the offensive line and everything else, and we see Mitch, and they tell him run, read, two, read, run, I think I'm going to be a bigger Bill Lazor fan after the game than I will before, because that's going to give the Bears a very good chance. Because let's be honest, Green Bay's defense sucks as well. They just have Aaron Rodgers and he's a killer. But their defense sucks too. So if we can get them tired, if we can get them on their heels, I think we have a shot to keep it competitive for part of the game until Aaron Rodgers says, "Okay, I'm going to win it."
The problem with the Bears, like the Panthers defense sucked. The Titans defense sucked. The Vikings defense sucked. Like it hasn't mattered with this offense. It doesn't matter. The Giants defense sucked, and they scored 17 points with Mitch as their quarterback. Like this team has just not put together a complete game against a bad defense. They put together a couple good quarters, and that's the problem. Like what you mentioned, Lazor with that drive where it looked like they were going up tempo. They had good pockets. Everything was clicking. You get down into the red zone, and Cole Kmet runs the wrong route. And he runs into Anthony Miller, and you have to kick a field goal. Like the problem is that you're still getting mistakes by the players on the field, which could also be an extension of coaching mistakes, certainly, because you don't have good enough players.
I want to defend Cole Kmet just a little bit. I know. The kid barely gets any time. Yeah. Out of fairness, he really doesn't get any time. So unfortunately, he made a costly mistake. Because if you think about it, I feel like this far into the year, he should have gotten more playing time than what he has. So I was like, when I saw that, I was like, this is to me just evidence of a player not being developed. That's just how I feel like he's not really being developed, and hence there goes an error that cost them, obviously points they should have been putting on the board besides field goals. But
the problem, Maya, is that Cole Kmet was on the field a lot against the Vikings. He was on for 70% of the snaps. He was targeted 3 times. It's not good enough. He's getting on the field, but he's not getting open, he's not running the right route, or he is getting open, he is running the right route, and they're not looking to him. They're not designing plays for him. And at this point, Cole Kmet's going to wind up this year with worse numbers than Adam Shaheen had his rookie year.
Oh God,
that is what we're going toward.
And clearly they are two different. We know they are
absolutely.
Two different.
Cole Kmet's upside in the NFL is still really high.
Yes.
He just needs to be in a better offense.
So here becomes the question, because this is something I think everybody feels is the larger issue when you talk about the offense. There is no desire. I don't know if this is the Bill Lazor way. I have no idea. There is no desire to design plays that work to your advantage and the strengths of your players. We know the Nagy idea is this is my mastermind, and I want to insert you into my plays, not necessarily have my plays work to your advantage. I don't feel like we've seen that at all during the Nagy era, except, he had, his love affair with certain players, but when they're not there, or he'll overplay a player. Like he got so into Mooney at one point. I'm like, okay. But, and then he went away from Jimmy Graham, who actually was doing really well at one point in time. Now he seems out of sync. I'm just wondering if Bill Lazor has a different mentality about calling plays that work towards the advantage. And if that's the case, we should see an entirely different game from Mitch, because we know what Mitch does well and we know what he doesn't do well.
Right. I think that's going to be the interesting balance. If Lazor and Mitch are the play caller quarterback pairing in Green Bay, can Lazor find a way to minimize Mitch's weaknesses and accentuate his strengths? That's going to be a really interesting thing. This I think was really interesting. So I was talking with Chris Sims for a segment on the Undercenter podcast that's coming out on Friday.
Okay.
And I asked him, has the league caught up to Matt Nagy and Doug Peterson? Because the Eagles' offense is a disaster too. And he said, yeah, those two coaches have become so inflexible with what they do that it has allowed the NFL to find easy ways to defend them. And that I thought was really interesting, because Andy Reid is constantly adapting his offense. He's obviously got great players, but Andy Reid, what he ran in 2017 is not what he's running right now. But what the Bears are running right now is what the Chiefs ran in 2017. And what the Eagles are running right now is what they ran in 2017, and neither of them are working because 2017 was 3 years ago. And as a coach, you have to adapt every single year in the NFL. And what I've seen from the Bears is that they have not done that adapting.
Ever.
And they started to do it. It looked like they started to do it. They dipped their toe into it at the start of the season. Then as soon as Mitch had, a bad half, it was get him out of there, get Foles in. We're going to go back to what I want to run. And it hasn't worked. So I think that's going to have to be a lesson. If Matt Nagy is the Bears coach in 2021, stop doing what you want to do and build an offense to the players you have. Don't try to fit players to the offense you want. Fit an offense to the players you have.
And, it's interesting you pose that question to Sims, because I probably would even have thrown in that conversation about Sean McVay. Because remember, Sean McVay is the reason I feel that Matt Nagy got a job in Chicago. Mm-hmm. They thought, it got into the trend of let's get that young player, young coach, give him the opportunity. And you see now what's happening with the Rams. That magic is not the same as it was,
But the Rams have adapted.
But he does adapt. I mean, he's not. I mean, they've made some adapting. I agree, but I don't know that I can even give Nagy credit for having the flexibility ever, because I never really saw it with him ever.
Yeah, 100%. We haven't seen it. 2018, there was a little bit of flexibility in that offense because Matt Nagy said we're going to run the very basic version of it, which worked. It worked for Mitch. And then they went to the quote-unquote football 202 in 2019, which is very inflexible and is a disaster. And it still is a disaster because they're still in that, and they don't have the players to run football 202, starting with the quarterback, going to the offensive line, going to the tight ends. They don't have any of those guys that they need to run that kind of offense.
Let me ask you, going to the other side of the ball, I am really, really disappointed. And I think I might be the only person who feels about I don't feel like the Bears defense is playing at the level, regardless to who's not on the field, at the level I expected under Pagano. I really thought, we all know Fangio left, and I do feel like this was Fangio's defense. And I feel every single game I watch, I feel like it's still his defense, and I respect Pagano 100%. But what I thought I would see from him, like more exotic blitzes and just using them differently, I don't feel like I'm seeing it. Now, mind you, they're keeping teams where they're averaging maybe only 17 points a game against the defense, which is absolutely respectable. And I guess I shouldn't complain. But why do I feel like I'm not seeing them play aggressive? I don't know. It's something missing for me defensively. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, they're not playing as aggressive as you would like, but looking at DVOA here from Football Outsiders, the Bears right now they have the fourth best defense in the NFL by DVOA. If you took their efficiency this year and put it into 2018, they would have had the second best defense in the NFL behind the Chicago Bears. So I think that this defense, while yes, they're not generating the takeaways we saw in 2018 only with Vic Fangio. Wasn't like they were getting a lot of takeaways in 15, 16, 17. That is something they can do better. But what I'm seeing from Pagano is a defense that works and a defense that you should be able to win with if you had a league average offense. Right now, the Bears defense is about as good as, what we're seeing from the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have the best defense in the NFL. Actually, better comparison. The Bears defense is a little bit better than the Indianapolis Colts defense, which is really good. The Colts, by DVOA, have literally a league average offense. They're 16th in the NFL. They are 7-3 and probably going to the playoffs. The Bears, because their offense is bottom 4 in the NFL, are not going to the playoffs. All it takes is an average offense to win with this good of a defense. The Bears don't have the average offense. The defense, I don't know how much the defense can do. If they start taking risks, maybe they're at the point where we're on a 4-game losing streak. We've got to start doing that. But when you start doing that, then you probably become a worse defense because you practiced and installed this defense knowing your offense was going to stink. So trying to change that mid-season is not super easy.
Hey, JJ, I got a question real quick about trying to find how to make that offense average, right? Now that we're going into Bill Lazor's tenure as the play caller. There was a couple things that you had mentioned and that were spot on. In September, they were running under shotgun, under center a lot more, and the running game was flourishing. Better than I thought. It was actually a surprise to everyone because we were talking about in the offseason how they had no running game. How are they gonna get David Montgomery going? He needs to stop going left to right, and part of that is how bad your offensive line is played. But now that you're here and you had guys like in that last game, in that Monday night game against the Vikings, and Lamar Miller and Artavius Pierce, why aren't you using all your running backs? Why was the focus on Cordero Patterson? And are they going to continue to make Cordero Patterson the focus until David Montgomery comes back?
I think David Montgomery is going to be back this week anyway. He was at practice on Monday, so that was a good sign. I think Artavius Pierce probably deserves some more run. I don't think Lamar Miller is going to do much this year. He's probably a non-factor. The Bears just keep trying to make Cordero Patterson happen, and they are falling into the trap that a lot of teams in the NFL have fallen into since Cordero Patterson debuted, which is, holy cow, this guy is an amazing athlete. He's so fast. He's a great return man. Just get him in space, and he's going to do some great stuff. But it hasn't worked. And Cordero Patterson can have a role in this offense, certainly, but it needs to be smaller than it has been. And, yeah, I'd like to see Artavius Pierce a little bit more. He put his foot in the ground a couple times against Minnesota, had a 7-yard run or whatever it was, and give him a little bit more run.
I felt like there was bursts with Artavius Pierce.
Right, there was bursts, yeah. Lamar Miller doesn't need to be a part of this discussion or equation until – that was a desperation play. Right. On the Bears' part. But Artavius Pierce, yeah, they give him a shot. See what you got out of this kid instead of keep running Patterson, because, again, it probably isn't going to be worse. I feel like I say that with so many things with the Bears' offense. It's probably not going to be worse than 12 carries for 30 yards like Cordero Patterson got on Monday night against the Vikings.
Right. Thanks,
guys, we're joined by JJ Stankovich from NBC Sports Chicago. Talk a little Bears football right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. So it comes down, JJ, it comes down to me, it comes down to this. There's no accountability. And that's a big, big issue for me. Okay. You have Anthony Miller who's been making mistake after mistake after mistake. You see his lack of hustle. You see his lack of effort. You see him pouting when the ball doesn't go to him and he's open. You have Charles Leno and I just talked to Maya earlier in our top of the morning segment. His $37 million contract, 4-year, $37 million contract he signed. So that's the only reason he has a job at the NFL. This has got to stop. This has got to stop, and there's got to be a change. There's got to be a football person, football decisions, not a business person making football decisions, because you can't keep having Leno out there because he's on here till next year. His cap hit is $9 million or $11 million this year.
I think Leno's gone after this season.
You think so? Okay, because the cap hit was $11.
About $6 million.
Okay, so hopefully. Okay, but there's got to be some accountability. They can't keep doing this, and the person it falls onto who's right smack dab in his lap is Ryan Pace. Is he really feeling the heat yet or not?
It's it's obviously the question about this team. I don't think Pace is feeling as much heat inside Hallis Hall as he's feeling outside Hallis Hall. I would not be unless, look, this season can still really go off the rails. You get blown out by Green Bay on national TV, and anything can happen. Everything's on the table.
Oh, it's going to happen.
George might fire him that day.
Yeah, well,
it's
Packers,
going to happen.
not the Packers.
I think if I had to guess right now what's going to happen, I think that Pace and Aggies stay 2021, but they are basically told playoffs are bust. And that becomes kind of that mandate, and maybe it turns into they make the playoffs. Maybe it turns into an Atlanta Falcons situation where Dan Quinn and Thomas Dimitroff get fired a couple weeks into the season. That, I think, is more likely right now. But again, hey, they get blown out by Green Bay, or worse, you get blown out by Green Bay on Sunday. You win your next 4. You go into that last game of the season against the Packers with a playoff spot on the line, and you get blown out again. That would be you would take a 9-7 record, but that would be right, exactly. That is the doomsday scenario for the Bears right now.
Yeah. Okay, let me ask you a question in this. I always say that I know people get really hyped about the Green Bay game. I'm like, well, it's only 2 games on the schedule. You need to win others. But this is one of those really sentimental, big-time rivalries. And I feel an embarrassment coming. Hence, I'm a Vikings fan as well. So, yeah, you shake your head if you want. I don't care. But with that being said, since Green Bay's defense probably is their Achilles heels versus the opposite for the Bears, within that matchup, what's the best case scenario offensively that you think they can execute that potentially could put them in a position to win?
They got to start by running the ball. That really is Green Bay's Achilles heel, is their run defense. And look, the Bears haven't run the ball well at all since September. They've got to find a way to run the football against Green Bay, because Green Bay, while their defense is a weakness, they got some good corners. Jair Alexander's probably going to be all over Allen Robinson. They have some talent in the back end of that defense. Obviously, Adrian Amos, Darnell Savage, they got some guys back there. And for the Bears to have any success, they've got to be able to run the football. But look, the Bears have faced bad run defenses before and haven't run the football well. So I don't have any confidence that they will run the ball well against a bad Green Bay defense unless they just try that offense I was talking about earlier, where you go under center more with Mitch and see if that helps. That is what I'm interested in seeing, because you're not going to pass your way to beating a team that has Aaron Rodgers. You got to be able to run the ball control during the game, try to keep the ball out of Rodgers' hands as much as you can, and find something you do well. Right now, the Bears haven't found anything they do well on offense. If they can run the ball well on Sunday, they'll have a fighting chance against Aaron Rodgers. But if they can't, this is going to be a 35-14 type game.
Well, the kicking game has been pretty decent.
There you go. You're right. Cairo Santos has been great. Ironic that the Bears finally solved their kicking issues in a year where it doesn't matter.
You can't hey, he gives them points, so you can't complain about his performance at any point. And remember, that was always a point of contention for a minute. It was a kicking game. Well, you know what? Now it's the most stable thing they have going on offense. So Kyle was saying, thank you.
JJ, let me ask you one last question before we let you go. We're joined by JJ Stankovitz from NBC Sports Chicago, right here on Shawn and Maya. What if Bill Lazor, taking the plays he likes from Nagy, implementing his own plays, what if he starts to do well? Okay, what if he starts to do, and this offense actually moves and scores 14 points? I know that's a lot. I know that's a lot. But they actually score 14 points. The defense puts us in a great position, and we get, a couple field goals. So now we're looking at 20, maybe 23 points. I know that's a lot, but still, how does that reflect on Nagy? And do you think Nagy would be upset that his plays didn't work, but they're working with Lazor? How do you feel about that?
No. I mean, look,
he's got to be the smartest guy in the room. He's got to be the smartest guy in the room.
Every coach has an ego, absolutely. But I think what it would be a sign to, and if Matt Nagy went to his mentor Andy Reid and asked him about it, Andy Reid would probably say, "Yeah, you were smart to give the play calling to Bill Lazor, and look at how he's adapted." And I think what it would be a sign of, and this would really help Matt Nagy. I honestly think this would be that would be the best thing for Matt Nagy's job security.
Bingo.
Because I think Matt Nagy, the type head coach, has a lot of upside in the NFL. If he were to say, you know what, I'm done running my offense. We're running someone else's offense, and I'm going to take more of a part in being the head coach
Crazy
Matt
idea.
Nagy can be a coach in Chicago and a successful one for a long time. But if Matt Nagy keeps trying to run his offense, he's not going to last here. And I think that would be a sign to him if the laser thing worked of, all right, I've got to really pivot my career and become that CEO type head coach. Maybe someday down the line, I'll take play calling back. But right now, it's not that time. And if we win, it's great. Everyone's happy.
JJ, that's why we love you, boy. That's why we love you. That's what we've been saying. Like, dude, it's too much. It's a lot. Very few people, because now you not only are you the CEO, but now you're specifically in the offense. So you're in the offensive meetings, offensive this, offensive that. I know you got Chuck Pagano. I know you had Vic Fangio, and they're head coaches. They could do that all, but you're still you are the one who has to take all the heat, not the defensive coordinators. And I think taking that off his plate, giving it to somebody. I mean, he had two qualified guys, him and DiFilippo. He could have given it to him as well. Take that off your damn plate and just be the head coach. Go here, go in these meetings, go to defensive meetings, go to offensive meetings, go to special team meetings. I think that's the best thing for him. And JJ, you're spot on. I think he could stay here in Chicago if he gives that up and that offense starts going away. Because then what's going to happen? The problem was Nagy, and I've said that for so long. I said he ruined Mitch. And the one thing that has to happen this Sunday is if they name Mitch the starter, it has to be this. It has to be first read, second read, run. Period. First read, second read, run. Because I'll tell you what, in 2019, they either told him covertly or overtly, or real quarterbacks win for the pocket. That's just buy time. They told him not to run in some way, some shape, some form, and he didn't run. Because if you notice, Mitch is a good soldier. He's not the playmaking type of guy who go crazy. He's a good soldier. So when they told him don't run, he didn't run, and he regrets big time. So if they give him first read, second read, run your ass out of there as soon as you can and get as much as you can, I think we have a really, really good shot of winning on Sunday.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. You still have Aaron Rodgers on the other sideline. But, hey, if they go back to Mitch, I'm going to be a lot more interested in how this game plays out. Absolutely.
Can we sign Shea McClellan for one game? I'm just saying.
Really reaching back now. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Great stuff, buddy. That's why I love having you, man. I love talking Bears with you, man. Thanks a lot. But do me a favor. Let everyone know where they can find you and your work online and on TV.
Yeah, you can read all of my stuff on NBCSportsChicago.com/Bears, on the My Teams app by NBC Sports. Subscribe to the Under Center podcast. We got a new episode out today with my colleague Cam Ellis, and we got Catherine Tappan on talking about her Sunday Night Football reporting debut that'll happen on Sunday. And yeah, stick with us on NBCSportsChicago.com. We got a lot of good stuff, and hope Shawn, you and Maya, and everyone have a happy Thanksgiving, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Awesome. Great stuff, JJ. Love you, Papa. We'll be in touch soon. All right, man.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
Guys, that was JJ Stankovic from Maya. I couldn't have. You talk about an alley-oop. That was like a half court, three-quarter court alley-oop, and he just like, boom. That's exactly what. Take this shit off your plate. It's hard enough being a head coach in your first year, but now you're a head coach and a play caller. Come on, dude.
And see, that was to me error in the Bears to allow that to happen, because you got a first year head coach who was an offensive coordinator who I think only called 5 games prior, and then he got blown out in that playoff game, which means his offensive mindedness was not that great. So but the thing was, I think Nagy was more focused. Great, I get to be a head coach, but I could be also the offensive coordinator. He gave himself too much credit and didn't understand fully the scope of what his job entailed as a head coach. He was way more focused. And you know what? Let's be honest. Fangio made it easy for him to do what he did because he knew his defense was solid and he didn't have to worry about it. So hence, and I guarantee you the thought was, we're really focusing on the offense because we know the defense, it's good. It's all good. No worries.
Yeah, and it's still, that still was obviously hindsight is 2020, no pun intended. But
it can be fully intended right about now.
Yeah, but it's still a lot to ask of a guy who's called 5 plays. So you're asking the guy who called 5 plays, has a 6 game that he's just horrible, asking him to call plays for a whole season and be a head coach. Being a head coach is a lot, Maya. Mm-hmm. I was just a defensive coordinator, and that was a lot. Okay, just putting game plans together in this, but then to be in charge of monitoring the whole team and then putting an offensive game plan like Matt Nagy has to do or had to do, that was just way, way, way too much for a guy who hadn't been a head coach at any level.
And we have to stop. Like, the whole coaching tree thing drives me crazy. I don't think it has a lot of credence to it.
No, it doesn't.
But yet again, it's one of those things that we think is important. I mean, look at Belichick.
His tree sucks.
And Vrabel is not even from his tree. He's just one of his players, but I think he's actually making a really good head coach. But I attribute that to, I'm sure he learned
being a player.
I'm sure he learned a lot under Belichick, but that's not really his coaching tree. Most of those people they're disciples who go forth and they failed and they don't do well. So my thing is, let's be honest. Andy Reid, I respect him. He finally won a Super Bowl, but his time with the Eagles wasn't that great. It was okay. It was always, can't quite get over the hump. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, Mike, you're absolutely they're all Andy Reid clones. Andy Reid sucked when he started with the Eagles.
He did.
The Eagles, the fans were wanting Andy Reid gone for a while, even after they went to the Super Bowl. Andy Reid was. I feel like we're seeing just a reboot of Andy Reid's. That's all I'm saying. Like, they're going to struggle until they figure out, oh, hey, I have to adjust constantly. I have to cater to my players that I have on my team, not the ones that I want in my head. Like that is exactly what it is. They're all Andy Reid clones. They're all going to have the same struggles as he had, and they're all going to have the same. I don't know if they're going to all have the same success. You saw Doug Peterson have some success, but that's neither here nor there. How long it took Andy?
But think about it. Andy Reid, part of his. Let's be honest. I'm not saying he didn't have some really good teams with the Eagles, but let's look at what he's got with the Chiefs right now.
Right.
Like, it'd be kind of hard to mess this up, so to speak. But he knows what to do with it. I mean, when you get Mahomes, Kelsey, what?
Do you need a moment to? I know you said his name. I didn't know if you could get the shivers. Like, oh, Kelsey. Oh.
Okay. Anyways, do you have a man crush? What's wrong with you? I just said Kelsey. What?
Whatever.
So you bite your bottom lip. You're like, Kelsey.
I did not bite my. Anyways, but yeah, we gotta look at what he's working with. I mean, even in letting the running back go,
Kareem Hunt.
I mean, and look at how they still are moving forward. So I mean, he definitely acquired this very talented team. Let's be honest. If Alex Smith is still his quarterback, does it look the same?
That's a phenomenal question. I think it looks really, really great. I don't know if it looks the same.
Right.
I don't know. He doesn't have that Patrick Holmes mystique about him. So yeah, I don't.
And I'm not discounting Alex Smith.
I love it.
Alex Smith's a good quarterback, so don't think I'm
bring him here.
So don't think I'm saying.
Actually, no, because we don't have an offensive line. He's gonna break his leg again. Never mind.
I'm not trying to snub him in any way, but let's be honest, Mahomes was an upgrade, big time.
And no one really knew that he was going to be this much of an upgrade. You're still taking a chance with a guy coming out of the air raid offense that really didn't have a quarterback to look at. Let's remember, it's like the run and shoot.
I believe that year behind Smith though was the difference.
Big time.
Like he didn't have to learn like Watson had to kind of do it under duress. Like but he was ready for it. He was ready. Mm-hmm. Mahomes got that full year to like really learn the offense, see how the game unfolded, to be able to make those adjustments. We take for granted. And that's the only reason I'll give Mitch a little bit of a pass. He really was a kind of quarterback who needed to sit behind somebody for a year or two.
2, maybe 3. 2, maybe 3.
Real talk.
Hey, real quick.
No, break time. I know. Gotta take
No. Real quick. Your boy Chicken Neck is starting this week for the first time since he started with the Bears.
That's a L. That's an L.
Mike Glennon is starting this week for the first time. They came across the wire a little while ago.
Here comes that trivia question. What NFL players are still in checks from their teams? He's on it. Leno. The list gets real long about people still in checks. I'm seriously.
Hey, you know what, Maya? I'll tell you what. I found it out the hard way when I came out of college. And I came back from Italy. I was a leading rusher in Italy at the time when I left, and I tried to literally sign with the Bears. My uncle was just my agent, so he called. We sent him tape and everything. And Rod Graves, and I know we're going to go to break. Rod Graves is the guy. Still mad at him to this day. So I'm talking with him. I'm calling him on my lunchtime in New York. When I'm on, an hour ahead. So I called him and he said, well, we're going to see what we get in the draft. And then they draft Rashaan Salam. I'm like, come on, dude. I'm like, Rashaan Salam ran the option in Colorado, but he's the Heisman Trophy winner. I'm like, listen, has he run in muck? Has he run in cold weather like he's going to between the tackles in Chicago? Like, no. He said, all right, well, we'll see what we get in free agency and then we'll let you know. So then you get Anthony Thompson. I'm like, wait a minute, Anthony Thompson from Indiana, the guy who was at Green Bay last year, and I had the stats of all the running backs. I'm like, the guy who rushed for -1 yard last year. And then this is when Rod Graves told me the secret. He's like, look, we'd rather have somebody who's been in the league than someone who hasn't been in the league before. And I said, well, wait a minute. So that's like a catch-22. I said, you're not going to give me a chance because you're not going to give me a chance because I don't have an experience. But how am I going to get experience if nobody gives me a chance? He was like, yeah, he goes, that's how I do. And so when he told me that, I'm like, you sons of guns. That's exactly how it is. So you got to come with that pedigree. You got to come with that hype. You got to come with something. And I'm like, man, you suck. I was so mad. I wasn't a Bear fan for like a week. I was pissed. I was pissed. So anyway, we got to take a quick break. And on the other side of the break, we have more sports conversation. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya on SportsZone Chicago.
BoomerNaturals.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone. The Bears continue to get ready for this Sunday's matchup against the Green Bay Packers. 7:20 kickoff this Sunday night at Lambeau Field. Still no answers about who the starting quarterback will be. Head coach Matt Nagy continues to say it's a wait-and-see approach for Sunday. Mitchell Trubisky continues to deal with a shoulder injury suffered in Week 8 against the Saints. The hip injury to Nick Foles won't land him on the IR, but he's still questionable. 3 NFL matchups on tap for Thanksgiving. 12:30 Eastern, the Lions play host to the Texans. 4:30 Eastern, Washington visits Dallas. And at 8:20, the Steelers put their 10-0 record on the line at home against the Baltimore Ravens. Jed Hoyer is the new president of baseball operations for the Cubs. Introduced on Tuesday, he replaces Theo Epstein. Boomer Naturals, your source for 3-layer protective face masks. Breathable protection for adults and kids. Save 20% with promo code SPORTS at BoomerNaturals.com. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
Shop incredible Macy's Black Friday specials right now while supplies last and get the holidays' hottest deals before they're gone. Like cozy sweaters, just $39.99. Refresh the bedrooms in your home with 65% off Charter Club Damask and Damask Designs sheets and bedding. Then cozy up with matching pajama sets for the family, only $19.99 and under. Right now at Macy's. Plus, buy online and get contact-free curbside pickup or pickup in store today. Details at Macys.com/pickup. Savings off sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year, automatically, dollar for dollar, with no limit on how much you can earn. Extra cash? Come on, how amazing is that? In fact, it's even more amazing when you realize all the places where Discover is accepted. 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. So when it comes to Discover, get used to hearing yes more often. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2020 Nielsen Report. Limitations apply.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago on this pre-Thanksgiving Hump Day edition. And we just got off the wire with our guy JJ Stankovic. Man, he was spitting the truth. I was like, JJ, spit that truth, boy. Spit it, spit it, spit it. I loved it. Loved it.
Deja vu. Here comes Mitch back.
Here it comes.
The Mitch is back.
Move, Mitch.
Get out the way. No. So the segment next week will probably be the problem with Mitch. Because remember, that was a segment we were joking so well, and I feel, here's the thing. I actually feel bad for him. Because of any game I had to return to, this is not the game I'd want. We know Mitch does not have very good mental fortitude. We saw how he performed in that Green Bay game last time. I'm like, poor guy. This is not the game I'd want him to come back to because of the stress, of just expectations of the win. And you're coming into a debilitated offense to begin with. This is not the best case scenario for him. But I'll tell you this, if he plays at a high level, this might be redeeming for him. It could be.
I was just about to say that.
As much as this could be the worst case scenario, he could rise like a phoenix and just play at a level that we're like, okay, well, maybe we shouldn't just absolutely 100% throw the talent this year.
Yeah, we need the Phoenix and not Jean Grey for him to play like so.
I take Jean Grey right by now because she probably do better than he do.
The thing here's where we're gonna find out. And maybe that benching, because that's an embarrassment. Maya, you're number 2 overall pick. You're embarrassed, and you get benched, okay, for Nick Foles. Maybe this embarrassment does something to him. Okay, maybe his pair dropped. Who knows? And he's going to be a little more, I don't know, hardened, a little more determined, a little more focused. Because remember what we said, that he needed time behind someone to watch. Unfortunately, Nick Foles didn't do a great job of him to watch, but it helps when you see things in film, like, okay, here's what he should have done, here's what he should have done. Okay, it really helps a lot as opposed to when you're out there running. So I wouldn't be surprised. I don't expect it, but I wouldn't be surprised if, and here's going to tell you how much Mitch has matured by this benching. If he comes out and has a good game, I'll be like, whoa, hold on, maybe he isn't soft as baby poo. Okay, maybe that benching, because sometimes you need a hard kick in the ass. Sometimes, Maya, football, it's an alpha male sport.
Yes, it is.
Alpha male sport, and no one gives a damn if you get benched. To get out of it. If you're not going to help us win, all right, get out. And he got kicked to the curb, and that hurts.
Mitch. Get out the way.
And that hurts.
You're right. He had to suffer the embarrassment.
Big time.
Of being on the sideline, and the cameras popped on him a couple times. You could tell
bad as a mug, boy.
He was trying to look stoic and not pissed off, especially when they were doing bad. Like, so I got benched, and
the game he got benched. Oh yeah, he was. Charlie.
That's I almost think
his shoelaces out of his shoe.
I think they should allow you to go back to the locker room at that point, so you don't have to sit there and be humiliated. But it comes with the game. Suck it up, deal with it. And like I said, in his defense, he was a guy who needed to sit behind somebody for a season or two. And let's be honest, what they actually gave him to be his veteran reference point has sucked.
Yeah.
I mean, when they gave him chicken neck, aka Mike Glennon, I'm like, what? This is not the right guy for him to have to be behind. But my thing is, I felt like the expectation was that Mitch was going to be the starter sooner rather than later. And that was a detriment to him because he wasn't ready. And I think everybody felt like he probably wasn't ready. So he was thrown into the fire. And the thing is, you saw those times where he made the adjustment to the speed of the game. It took some time. But his footwork and mechanics was totally off. You're like, whoa, buddy, what are you doing? This is not a stop. And it seemed like, for me, where I think he struggled, when he was focused too much on his mechanics, I think that's when he didn't play well. When they were trying to fix him, he was trying to do all kinds of things that he wasn't used to doing. And hence that hindered his performance. But when you let him do what he does, he performed much better. So he had a lot of things on his plate, and it implies the fact he can't read a defense. And I'll be honest, I don't know that you ever learn that. I feel like that's intuitive to some people. This is why I have this love affair with quarterbacks in the league right now. Like, I love Joe Burrow, and I am so disappointed his season ended this way. Yeah, I was like, Joe is not the team. I feel bad for the team that he's on, but from a skill set, you can tell the kid has it. You know what I mean? He has it. Even though people may feel funny about Baker Mayfield, I feel like he's got it. He gets it. There's other things going on. You look at Allen. Okay, his matriculation has been amazing to me where he's gotten to.
Josh Allen. Dude, they were looking at him as the worst quarterback in the league, and he was a bust. And all
look at him now.
Like, hold my beer.
And it's not that it's sometimes it's not where you want to be, it's where you're at that matters. And Mitch, honestly, I don't feel him being like he's never going to be a Super Bowl quarterback, but in a different system. In a
Super Bowl, if he was, here's what they need to do. You know who he reminds me of, Maya? He's not that athletic. Although Mitch is athletic, Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray can't read a defense to save his goddamn life. But what does he do? He'll run you. And he goes and he runs.
He's a bullet. He's a bullet. Because I watched him play. I was like, Jesus. But here's my thing about. See, this is why I'm old school, and I can't remember who we had on who talked about. At the end of the day, you really need a quarterback who can stand and deliver, which is a pocket quarterback. Because if you look at most quarterbacks that have won Super Bowls, it's got nothing to do with their athletic ability and they could run. It was their ability to pass and be in the pocket. And if they had to get out the pocket, for instance, Drew Brees is not like this amazing athletic quarterback, but he can roll out the pocket and make things happen. Even Brady. Aaron Rodgers, I'll go ahead and give it to him. Respectfully, the guy, when he has to scramble, can make things happen. So he's athletic enough to make it happen, but he's also can stand in the pocket and pass. He can read a defense. There's his new love affair in the NFL with the idea of athleticism. Athleticism will never trump that you have a better mental acuity for the game. But yet we want to keep convincing people. Kyler Murray is kind of like Michael Vick. And eventually people figure out how to shut you down when you're running around. That's just how it works.
You're absolutely right. Because already in the past couple of games that I've watched, because we're covering all the games on the Basement Monsters podcast. So every game that I watch, and they're in the yeah, right. And then it's on Sundays. Don't worry about that. But anyway, what they've been doing is just straight contained. They've been focusing straight on. They said, "Hey, Kyler, throw the ball, bro. Throw it all day long. Throw it. Even with the Hail Marys, even that game against Buffalo, they had to come back and win the game. And the ensuing games, like all they've been doing, all the defense have been recognizing, because I thought they should have blown out the Bills, because the Bills defense ain't that good. But what the Bills defense showed and exposed was he cannot read defenses, like Shawn said. He's not that good at reading. He's not there yet. He's not Russell yet.
But yet everybody is singing his praises. But see, it's interesting because in year 2, look how Lamar is struggling, because the league is making adjustments and his athletic ability is not enough. And and here's the thing. I feel like I'm picking on them because they're black quarterbacks. I really feel bad because I know somebody's right now saying you're picking on them because they're black. I'm like, no, I'm looking at ability. So there's this absolutely love affair with that athletic piece, but where's the skill sets? So Mitch can't read the defense, and let's be honest, it's a problem. Foles can read a defense, but doesn't have enough athleticism to go, you know what I'm saying?
To buy time.
To buy time. So you want something that's a little bit of everything in there. And this is why I like Burrows and Allen, because they're athletic enough to make it happen, but they can read defenses and kind of expand plays. Cam, you know what? Cam can read defenses.
Yeah.
He can. And he can be a pocket passer. My issue with Cam, though, is it's between the ears with him.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see his outfit last Sunday?
I'm confused. I don't know what's going on.
I'm
like,
I loved it. And then somebody remember the price? Was it The Price is Right? Where the little hiker guy that they put those two, that Cam and that hiker guy. Oh my God! I think I almost peed my pants.
I just don't understand it. I don't get his fashion sense. It really throws me for a loop.
I feel like he watches really old movies and then just like catches somebody wearing a like ridiculously flamboyant costume. It's like, that's it, Sunday.
I mean, I'm like, does he do it for shock value? Is this because remember, this wasn't Cam early on. It seems like I feel like he had a nervous breakdown after that whole Super Bowl situation. I think he broke. I'm serious. He and you saw it happen in front of your eyes, and I just don't feel like he had he's literally in a Kanye West loop.
Yeah.
Kanye West ain't been the same either.
After his mom died. Yeah. After that was very brutal what the Seahawks did to Cam.
Oh,
it was
traumatic.
The Patriots. That was not the Broncos. Not the Seahawks.
The Broncos.
They got him to the point where like literally PTSD. Like that was an embarrassment.
Yes.
You're the NFL's MVP. You're looked at as you're about to be the face of the league for the next 10 years. Oh, you should get to the Super Bowl. Oh, you got to the Super Bowl. Okay, great. Oh, what they did to him was just unbelievable. It was just an ass. Literally a straight up old school gang initiation beatdown is what they did to him in the Super Bowl, and I don't think he's recovered since.
And at the press conference, you saw him crack. You saw it right. I mean, he just lost it, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
He remember the fumble, right? And I think this is the play that really is that's the cause of it all, because the play at the end of the game where Cam fumbles the ball, Cam, the ball's right in front of you. Cam looks as if he doesn't want to commit to going after the ball, while you see one of the Panthers players fly in, one of the defensive linemen fly in and pick it up. From there on, I even said it. I was like, Cam, what the hell was that? Like, Cam, why didn't you give up your – like, I understand this is the last game of the season. This is a Super Bowl. I understand injuries and everything, but you can't give that up like that. And it looked like Cam didn't even want – like, he looked like he was defeated. It looked like he was defeated on the field, and it just blew over. It just kept going from there.
There's we got a lot of things coming on the wire. The one thing that we see at the bottom of the screen, our Argentinian soccer legend Diego Maradona has died at age 60. 60 is young. 60 is really young, especially nowadays. And some people would argue he's the best player in the world. I would say Pele, but he's in the conversation of one of being the greatest soccer player of all time. Soccer legend Diego Maradona has passed away at the age of 60. In addition to that, Nick Saban, head coach of the Roll Tide, Alabama Crimson Tide, has tested positive for COVID-19. Man, that's unfortunate. Wow. That's unfortunate. That's crazy. So I don't think he'll be able to. I'm not sure if they're playing or if because they're all the games that have been canceled to this point. We don't know, but I don't know if he'll be how long it's going to be. Probably in the 14-day quarantine period. And then the last breaking news you see at the bottom of the screen, Chicago State's Lance Irvin. He is a co-host of What's Up Cuz with Jason Palmer. Will not coach this season at Chicago State.
Looks like Jason's around if he wants.
He said he can come on, and he said he'll be able to come on and address this in a few moments.
30 minutes. Okay, so maybe we'll catch him in the next segment, maybe.
Yeah, probably at the bottom of the hour, 11:30. Yeah, that'll be insane. So there's a whole bunch of breaking news going on here. That's insane. I'm wondering how, man. That's crazy. Armando Lara said I saw Maradona play back in '86. Wow. It's a long time, man. Long time. But
right, dude. I'm like 86. Oh wow, I remember in 1986 really well.
You're 14.
I remember that. That was
I was 15.
I remember that. It was like I remember that being like my freshman year in high school, but I remember it really from a grade school standpoint because I was a cheerleader. So we would have these big year battles. Anyways, it's a Catholic school thing.
Yeah. It definitely Catholic.
It was a Catholic thing, you had your upperclassmen and your lower, and it was weird. Anyways, now that I think about it, I'm like, it was really weird. But, gosh, it's just curious. I mean, they passed away. I wonder if it was related to COVID. If we can find more about that, or
Yeah, we'll definitely get some more information on that because that's wow.
It's real. This isn't phantom. I know it's real because I can't tell you how real it is from how I see what I see on a regular basis. It's real. It's very real. And so it's something that if you're healthy, it's great, but for other people, this can be very compromising. So it's very sad. What's interesting, Shawn, I was saying that it always seems like at the end of the year you lose people, like as the year is expiring. But I think for us, it's a lot more intense because of the loss we've seen across this year.
Yeah, the year in general has been a crap year, and then you add on that all the deaths because we lose people every year. We know this. It's part of the cycle of life, but when you're in a pandemic and there's a lot more suffering for more people, and then to throw these on top of that. It makes it seem worse. Here, this is from the Wrap. It said Diego Maradona has died from a heart attack, according to multiple reports.
Okay.
He was 50. He had recently left the hospital after undergoing brain surgery.
Oh, so he already had some compromising medical issues.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, brain surgery. That's intense. Okay.
That's insane. Holy cow. So rest in peace, Diego Maradona. Like I said, he's arguably one of the greatest soccer player of all time. It's between him and Pele, in my opinion. I'd say Pele, but nonetheless, still one of the greatest soccer players of all time. Diego Maradona passing away at the age of 60. So, wow. Well, listen, we got to take a quick break. And on the other side of the break, we have more sports conversation. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya on SportsZone Chicago.
BoomerNaturals.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone. The Bears continue to get ready for this Sunday's matchup against the Green Bay Packers. 7:20 kickoff this Sunday night at Lambeau Field. Still no answers about who the starting quarterback will be. Head coach Matt Nagy continues to say it's a wait-and-see approach for Sunday. Mitchell Trubisky continues to deal with a shoulder injury suffered in Week 8 against the Saints. The hip injury to Nick Foles won't land him on the IR, but he's still questionable. 3 NFL matchups on tap for Thanksgiving. 12:30 Eastern, the Lions play host to the Texans. 4:30 Eastern, Washington visits Dallas. And at 8:20, the Steelers put their 10-0 record on the line at home against the Baltimore Ravens. Jed Hoyer is the new president of baseball operations for the Cubs. Introduced on Tuesday, he replaces Theo Epstein. Boomer Naturals, your source for 3-layer protective face masks. Breathable protection for adults and kids. Save 20% with promo code SPORTS at BoomerNaturals.com. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
Shop incredible Macy's Black Friday specials right now while supplies last and get the holidays' hottest deals before they're gone. Like cozy sweaters, just $39.99. Refresh the bedrooms in your home with 65% off Charter Club Damask and Damask Designs sheets and bedding. Then cozy up with matching pajama sets for the family, only $19.99 and under. Right now at Macy's. Plus, buy online and get contact-free curbside pickup or pickup in store today. Details at Macys.com/pickup. Savings off sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year, automatically, dollar for dollar, with no limit on how much you can earn. Extra cash? Come on, how amazing is that? In fact, it's even more amazing when you realize all the places where Discover is accepted. 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. So when it comes to Discover, get used to hearing yes more often. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2020 Nielsen Report. Limitations apply.
Welcome back, folks. It's Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago on this pre-Thanksgiving Hump Day edition. Maya, what are you doing for Thanksgiving for tomorrow? Your mom's gonna eat it up, or are you working, or what do you?
I'm actually off for it. I'm actually off for a change. Go figure. So.
Oh, you're not trying to make $750 an hour?
Right? Okay, that amount might pull me out, but no, I'm actually just chilling at home. I'm not doing anything. Yeah, I'm not. I'm keeping it low key. Just hanging out with the cats, the girls.
So we usually go to Elgin, South Elgin, where my cousin lives, Marlo, and we'll spend the night over there because I ain't trying to drive back after eating. But her husband had COVID too, and so he's recovering. Mm-hmm. And so I definitely didn't want to bring my mom around that. It was tough enough. Her being around me. Well, not really. I would see my mom once a day or twice a day, maybe. I'd open the door, and she'd be over there like, "Hey, how you doing? You all right over there?" "Yeah, I'm okay." "You good? You hungry?" Like, "Yeah, okay. All right, good." And that was it. So it was crazy. It was I hugged her for the first time in 3 weeks this past Saturday. I got a little teary eyed.
Aww, mama's boy.
3 weeks. It was long. 3 weeks, and she's freaking 25 feet away from me, and I can't hug her. That was tough. So this COVID thing is real, man. It's tough. It's tough. It was tough, but so what we did is actually after we get done with the show today and everything, we're gonna head over to Jewel. So we ordered a dinner from Jewel. Like I said, we used to make the stuff, but then there was just two of us. So we went to Jewel. So we got some turkey breast, we got some ham, we got some mashed potatoes, we got some stuffing, and it was like $40. We're like, $40? That's it?
That's it. There you go.
So
meal done.
And then first thing, my mom's crazy. Yeah, she's like, "Do we get a dessert with that, right?"
That's funny. Like, does that include dessert?
I was like, "Mom, your diabetes, you can't have." "Okay, it's Thanksgiving. We'll make sure you take your medicine." So yeah, if it doesn't come with a dessert, we'll get an apple pie or a pumpkin pie or a cheesecake, whatever you like. We'll get a dessert. She's like, "That's funny." "Okay, good."
Well, I mean, dessert is part of the overall layout of Thanksgiving. Depending upon what you do, because there's stuffing versus dressing. I love that. There was a recent post about cranberry sauce. I'm like, who doesn't like cranberry sauce? Where did this come from?
Me.
I was like, I love. I'm good with real cranberry sauce and or whatever the little gel can. I like cranberry. Yeah, I like. Yeah, you're working on it. I like cranberry sauce. So I was like, when has this ever been an issue about cranberry sauce? Hello?
I've never liked cranberry sauce.
I always have. Oh, yeah. Love it. Yeah. Never. So people occasionally, in the Black community will pop up these conversations. I'm like, what? So dressing stuffing, I think that's funny. Then obviously sweet potato pie versus pumpkin pie. I was like, whatever. I was like,
and then there's always who. And here's a question that you always want to know, but you shouldn't ask. Who made the mac and cheese?
Okay. Okay. My mother makes a mean mac and cheese. Oh my God, is it good? And I told somebody, I said, I was watching TV and there was a commercial about Chick-fil-A and allegedly their mac and cheese is supposed to be the bomb. And I said, I guarantee you it's not as good as you think it is. Seriously.
That because mac and cheese is specific. Like it all depends who's making it. Who's making it determines. Yeah. Yeah. So
Mother, I mean, I'm serious. She's got a process to it. It's good. I was
Right.
like, you know, I tell people if your mac and cheese, I can take my fork and go like this and it moves around. No.
my Aunt Lola, my mom's sister, they're 11 months apart. They're Irish twins. They she makes a killer mac and cheese. She's been making that for us since my birthday parties. She would cook for my birthday parties.
Yeah.
So unfortunately she won't be cooking for us tomorrow. But yeah, it's gonna be tomorrow's gonna be pretty chill.
I wonder how many people. I said, you know, okay, so you can't share time with your family. I was wondering how many people are going to like do Zoom calls. You know, literally,
Yeah.
you could take your laptop, put it at the end of your table, and pretty much get everybody probably in the shot, and still share your Thanksgivings together.
Yeah, and you know a lot of people have those
Or if you got a camera, even better. Yeah.
They have the standing light, like the circle lights.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is put your phone in there and get it at the end. You know,
And
people have laptops. I mean, tablets. So if they have, you can put a tablet in there. The whole
you can
thing.
still sit around and still laugh, and you know, you're still present. I mean, this is different. It's not the same, but you can still be there with people. You know, so you know, it's just you got to be a little creative this time. You know, it's different. You're still eating, so don't worry about it. You know, but yeah. So
that's so it's funny. Like I'm looking forward to this. So like my question is, what time are we eating? I mean, we'll probably eat a couple times tomorrow. You know, but I'm excited to eat tomorrow. I'm really looking forward. I'm excited to eat later today when we get done because I didn't have a big breakfast. So.
Yeah, it's always. I mean, actually, for me, the last couple Thanksgivings I was working, so this is the first time I've been off in like years. And they actually give us food at work.
Mm-hmm. Is that good, huh?
I mean, I eat it because it's there, you know, and like so it's fine. But it's like, okay. I was like, but obviously because it's a hospital, they have to be kind of, you know, kind of even keel. Like you're not gonna over flavor anything because all kinds of people eat stuff. So that's the thing about when you eat at home, things are flavored according to what your palate is like, and that's why it's interesting when people make this, like bring something and bring it. You're like, this ain't got no flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's certain dishes that people make differently, like potato salad.
Top
of the list. If you want people, I've heard people like absolutely dissect other people's potato salad. Like, why are there nuts in this? I mean. One is called German potato salad, first of all, and it's different. So you got to know, is it their real version of potato salad, or did they just give you German potato salad? And a lot of times people do know, like, why are you putting, like, raisins?
Raisins, that's another one that people like to do. I was like...
Black people like, why is there raisins? You know, here's the thing, though. I'm kind of okay with it. I was like, well, it tastes okay. I mean, it's not, I wouldn't do it, but I'm not opposed to it. I don't know.
Yeah. That's funny. It's like, it's going to be.
There's a couple dishes that are interesting. So dressing versus stuffing, potato salad, macaroni and cheese. Those will be the dishes. If you say you can throw down, those are the dishes that people are judging you on.
Yeah. And, you know, and truth be told, that there's a reason, because like you don't go and you don't fill yourself up on turkey. You don't fill yourself up on ham.
You're right.
You get a little bit of those, and it's all about the sides.
It is.
It's all about the sides.
This would be true. It is about the sides.
You know, you gotta. If you make a good stuffing, then you have to make like a separate pan, like the stuffing inside the turkey. Then you got to make a separate pan of stuffing because
I would actually like to survey people on that. How many people actually put their dressing or stuffing, whichever you make, in the turkey?
No, yeah, you do. You do it in
the turkey.
No.
A lot of people don't do. I mean,
really?
You see that on TV a lot, but no, I'm being serious. I don't know a lot of people that do it.
Do you? Yeah.
Okay, I mean, it's not anything wrong with it. Obviously, it's good. I'm just don't know. Maybe it's a 50-50 with people who maybe do. I don't know a lot of people who necessarily do it. Oh, somebody brought up. I knew it was coming.
Stop it, Vernon.
I knew it was coming. How many people do chitterlings? That is what it says on the bucket. Chitlins.
Yeah, chitlins. Everyone knows them as chitlins, but
I'm gonna tell you something. I'm not gonna lie and say I haven't eaten them. I mean, I haven't had them in a long time though. But I'm gonna tell you something. I will. If my mother makes them, I'll eat hers. That's something you don't eat that everybody makes.
There's another dish. Yes. I haven't had. It's been about 30 years since I've had them. I've always been a big fan.
I think maybe a couple years, but it's my mother, and that's it. And a person knows what they're doing because you walk in her house and you don't smell it. Yeah. So I wouldn't. When people are like, "Oh, I brought you," I'm like, "Yeah, you might have, but I ain't touching that."
Yeah.
Because if you tell me they were cleaned in the bucket and you thought that was okay, well, yeah, there you go. Those are like Thanksgiving, Christmas kind of, people slide those in and people are like, "Oh my God, it's so disgusting." I was like, it is in a way, but we eat other parts of animals that are equally as disgusting.
Yeah, true.
And most people don't realize a lot of sausages are cased in intestines. Did you know that?
No.
Yes.
Cased in intestine? I didn't know. I honestly didn't know what the encasement was.
Yeah. They just don't realize it. I was like, so? Now I made it up. I was like, what? I'm like, so you've been eating it even though you didn't know you were eating it. Okay.
Yeah. So Maya, we didn't get your thoughts on. We talked a little bit about but I wanted to get your thoughts on the draft pick. Yeah, I could see that, Vernon. That's funny.
Okay, I'm gonna say something. I don't know what kind of roaches you had around you. I ain't never seen a roach that looked like a pecan.
Well, because Vernon, I got you.
I think you had some hungry moments because if you saw a roach, it's like, damn, he looked like a pecan.
Growing up, like you see, like the roaches, their back are, and then now we're talking about roaches, but their back was like a little shiny. So when you get the glaze on the pecans, yeah, I feel, Vernon, I feel you. As jacked up as that is, I feel you.
No.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I've never seen a roach that I thought looked like a pecan. I've never looked at a pecan and thought it looked like a roach. Those are two things that I just have never put in the sand. I mean, when you said it, I was like, what?
I got you.
First of all, do you know how big a pecan is? And if you've seen roaches that big, now I'm afraid. I'm like, what kind of roach you got around you this big as a pecan?
Growing up in the hood.
Y'all got roaches like that, Rosalind? Y'all got they got they got supersized roaches. Okay, because I've never seen a roach that big. Okay. Anyways,
so we digress. So what I asked you, because we haven't talked to you since the Bulls drafted. So last time we talked to you was Wednesday when the Bulls drafted Patrick Williams. Give me your thoughts on the Florida State product, 6-man of the year in the ACC, who led the team in scoring and is unbelievably athletic.
Here goes that word again. I'm okay with it. I don't take issue with it. I mean, he comes from a good program. I think
from a deep program because they were like 12, 13 deep at Florida State last year.
He may be that. Now, mind you, I can't put the onus on him as a rookie, but he might be that spark for your defense getting better. You know what I mean? He might be that defensive spark that could be much better. I mean, not saying the Bulls don't play good defense, but it can be better. I think we're going to see that shift, obviously Donovan as well. There's going to be more balance to them offensively and defensively on the floor. So I'm good with it. It's interesting because I'm looking at, I feel like he fits. I don't, you can draft someone, you go, where do they fit? I feel like he can fit. Like, I don't feel like they went out and got a player that they can't fit into the current system they have. The question comes into, are they going to deal something to get other pieces? Wendell Carter Jr. has come up. That question's come up. Which again, now that was a pick I loved, and I thought he was a good fit. The issue was more about him staying healthy more than anything else. So I do like it. I think he brings the energy, good defense. I think he couldn't have come at a better time because he's coming under competent, when you put Donovan and you get Mo Cheeks, he's coming under a competent coaching staff. You know what I'm saying? So his abilities will not be asked to do things that's not really in his first nature. He will grow. The best coaches do the three things that are important. You get something good in the draft, you develop it, and you coach it up. And I feel like in the first time in a long time, the Bulls literally have a legitimate qualified coaching staff, and I love middle management. It's the first time in a long time that I think they've gotten something right. So I do like the draft pick. I do. I think he fits.
That happens when you determine you hire people specifically for development. That's never happened before on the West Side. AK hired people specifically for player development. So you get a guy who was a 6-man of the year in the ACC, who was the leading scorer on his team at Florida State. The only reason he didn't start was because he was a freshman, and they had other sophomores and juniors and other people, but he finished. And don't give a damn if you start. Are you in there at the end of the game, the last 3 minutes, 5 minutes of the game? Are you in there? Those are the guys you want.
And don't forget, we lost out on not having March Madness, which I have to admit I miss that because that was, I don't care if you didn't watch the basketball season the whole damn year. when you got to March Madness, it made up for everything. It was
Everything.
the unexpected happened. Stars rose. You found out players. You're like, oh, who's this? I mean, just so much happens, which makes the draft so much more interesting. So I feel because we missed March Madness, we didn't get to really see him. Like as a nation, we didn't see him. So it's like you got to get comfortable with this pick based on what you just know here's his stats, this is what he did. We didn't see a lot of him. So it's kind of hard to when we look at, Kobe White, we got to see him. You know what I'm saying? So we knew what we were getting. You got to, we knew all about, obviously, Zion. But I'm just saying, March Madness is a bigger stage, and we didn't get to see him on that stage and get familiar with him. Right. But I liked the program he came from, and I believe that Florida might have been a force to be reckoned with had we had March Madness, but we didn't.
Well, Florida State was definitely going to go deep in the tournament.
Yeah,
they went 12 deep.
Yeah.
They went 12, 13 deep, Maya. I mean, literally, they used the entire team, and there was very little drop off from the first unit to the bench mob.
I will tell you what will be interesting about this Bulls team, and it's come up in a couple different shows I've listened to. I was always a big Lauri Markkanen fan, and I really feel like they took his thunder away, so to speak. I think they weren't using him properly. He used to be aggressive. That all kind of got tabled based on how they were using him, and so the question is, I mean, now I'm hearing like, oh, is he really the right fit? I'm like, you know what? Everybody we have a question mark about. Let's stop questioning it, because now we got competent people who know what to do with him. Even Chris Dunn.
He's gone. They signed him. He went to.
That's right. But I'm okay. And it's unfortunate because I really felt he could have been a good part of the bench. But he also can be a starter someplace else. We saw what he did when he first came here when there was no Levine. And then he was okay until he face planted. And then something changed. Yeah. I think he knocked something loose upstairs. But I'm glad he's okay.
Real talk,
seriously. But this is a coaching staff that if anybody can hit the reset button on the likes of Markkanen, it's going to be them. You will see the best version of Zach LaVine under them. I'm excited about Mo Cheeks. I'm serious.
Man, who you telling? Telling?
That's a tandem that that's just, these guys are going to be dialed in and listening. And the fact that you have someone like Billy Donovan knowing and understanding that the point guard position with Chicago has never really been resolved or developed, he gets to come in there and say, look, you're the field general. This is what I need you to do. This is how it works out. And this is why I think that Patrick will be a good fit, because they'll know exactly how to insert them in there. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of like when Coach Thibs figured out what to do with Luol Deng. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden his game just elevated. This is what I see happening with this coaching staff, with the draft pick and everybody else.
I said this on Monday, Maya. Watch the Bulls. You know how the Bulls at the end they would crumble. Mm-hmm. In the end of games, they would crumble. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen because of the fact that you got point guards coaching. You have Billy Donovan, Billy the Kid, who's a little different type of point guard, who's a shooter, but you're still running the floor. You're still running an offense as a, back at Providence under Rick Pitino when they went to the Final Four. But then you also have Mo Cheeks. You have a Hall of Famer, multiple-time All-NBA, multiple-time All-Defensive NBA player. And so now you have two legitimate point guards teaching Kobe White, teaching Zach LaVine, teaching Denzel Valentine. So now he goes from Tom Izzo to this. You know what I mean? So watch them not shoot themselves in the foot late in games. Watch them not crumble mentally late in the games. Watch them win, because other teams crumble late in games and we don't. And we don't do stupid stuff at the end of the games that hurt us. We don't shoot. We don't have any self-inflicting wounds at the end of games. Right. And watch how many more games the Bulls win just because they don't shoot themselves in the foot.
Yes.
So that's going to be awesome. Awesome to see, and I love the pick. And I watched a little bit of his workouts. This guy's got an offensive game. I mean, hell, he averaged 16 and 19 points, and this is coming off the bench. So it's not like this guy can't score. This guy is athletic. He can run. He can jump. He plays defense, and I'll tell you what, I think that AK Arturas Karnisovas is going to be a big influence in the kind of, he'll be the person that Lauri Markkanen can kind of go to European, but two, it's going to get him back on track to being the finisher.
Yes.
Okay, I think that's going to be so freaking huge, because now you're going to have Zach LaVine and you're going to have the finisher, and I think Billy Donovan is going to say, hey, listen, you stay your ass in the post. You get down the post, and if you get a guy who's really slow, either go around him or pull him out, okay? Put it on the floor. There's so many different things that Lauri can do. Lauri never really has to come outside of 8 feet. 10 feet. He never really has to do it.
No, you don't. We want to pull a little bit of that Euro play out of him. That's why he played a year in the state at Arizona. And then they try to make him be, because that Euro style basketball, they're really trying to insert that in with big men right now in the NBA, which is annoying me. That's why. And so, yes, I think everything will be righted. So you'll have, won't that be funny? You'll have 2 Reinsdorf owned teams that are actually doing something right for a change. With that being said, talking about basketball and the NBA draft, college basketball is in a really interesting situation right now. Looks like we got Jason ready to talk about what was breaking news with Coach Lancey Irvin, who's the head coach for Chicago men's States basketball, saying not coaching this year might be the best thing for him because of COVID and his medical situation. Let's bring on Jason to talk about it.
What up, Jake?
Hey, what's up, y'all? How you doing?
We're not bad. It's a hump day before Thanksgiving, so we're all kind of like working our energy up so we can be ready to eat tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, all right. So you share with us. I feel like there's been breaking news all day today. Kind of tell us what's going on with Coach Lancey Irvin, who obviously is head coach at Chicago State, and also your co-host at What's Up Cuz on Monday nights at 6 p.m. Tell us a bit about the backdrop to the story.
So obviously the story is now out, written by Jeff Goodman, the stadium, and Coach Irvin has announced that he will not be coaching from the sidelines this year for Chicago State University. He is planning on still remaining the head coach at the university. He is going to be coaching virtually. He will be meeting with players via Zoom. At practices, it's been recommended that he could be in the gym with them, but he probably needs to sit up in the upper deck to observe, of course, and wearing masks and gloves and all that stuff. And this decision was made in consultation with Lance's doctors at the University of Chicago. Many people know, but not everyone knows that Coach Irvin was diagnosed with leukemia back in 2010. The cancer went in remission, came back again in 2012. At that time, he received a bone marrow transplant. The marrow, luckily for him, his younger brother, Mike Irvin, who's the head coach at Kenwood Academy, was a perfect match in terms of bone marrow. The surgery was quite successful. The thing about that transplant surgery, though, is that it takes down your immune system, and it can take up to 10 years in order for the immune system to fully really recover. And with us now in the middle of this COVID pandemic, and we've seen people who have pre-existing conditions such as asthma, diabetes, heart problems, respiratory problems, right? It's, their chances of becoming either very sick or dying really increases. So Lance made the decision in consultation with his doctors to forego this season on the bench per se, but he will still be the head coach of Chicago State, but he will not be out there on the floor. And, I, for one, as his cousin, applaud this decision. He and I have been talking about this for weeks. We haven't really talked about it. We haven't talked about it publicly. I've talked to him about this. I know he's gotten advice from other family members, his wife, in terms of what he was going to do. And so that's the real backdrop of the story. He's doing this specifically for health reasons, based off of the recommendation of his doctor, who has been caring for him for over 10 years. And I heard her main concern was, you've come such a long way, because the cancer he had is a very serious one. It's not a high survivability rate. And once you get the bone marrow transplant, he's been progressing very well. And his doctor was very concerned with the COVID. If he gets COVID, he's got some problems. I know there's a lot more information that is about this, and that's up to Chicago State to reveal. Maya, having worked there, I know, having been there, how Chicago State operates. That's really my beef with them. They were made aware of Lance's decision last week on Thursday, November the 19th. They knew, and they specifically chose not to reveal this. And the media in this country, and especially in Chicago, needs to be asking some serious questions of that university. Because if someone comes to you and tells you, hey, my doctor recommended me that I do not do this, and he's informed you that he's not going to do it, The program still needs to go on. There still need to be protocols put in place going forward. The team has a game today at 4:00.
That's what I thought. I was going to ask you that. That's what I thought.
And for this university to not say anything until 6 hours before game day, they still haven't really said anything and gone into details. That's an indictment on the university. And I'm just going to say it. That's an indictment on the university.
Jason, were the players aware of this, or is this kind of a bombshell for them today?
It's not a bombshell for them today, but I will say this. They were not informed in the proper way they should have been informed. They are aware of it. The other coaches are now aware of it. But I will say this, knowing a lot of inside information about Chicago State, the players and other coaches were not informed about this in the proper way.
So is he's going to be around, just not close?
He's going to be coaching. And well, you know what, Shawn, this is the thing that's going to make this very interesting because, it's the breaking news about Nick Saban today. Okay.
Yep.
Coaches are going to come up positive.
Yes.
Coaches are going to come up positive. So the NCAA is going to have to sit down and figure out how coaches can still coach during the game without being on the bench. Whether that's you put them up in a booth like they do in football, Shawn, and you guys have the headsets and
right.
You can talk to your coaches that are on the bench. If they have to come up with that as a plan, where the head coach may be up in a booth and he's talking down to his assistant so he can still coach the game, that may be something they have to do. But we're living in crazy times. I have come out publicly several times and say they should not even be playing. But I understand they're going to play, so fine. But if you're going to do that, we can't put everybody in a bubble like the NBA and the NHL can, because you don't have the money like that at the NCAA level. But they need to come up with something. If they're going to really push through with this season, they need to come up with something, because I guarantee you Lance is not going to be the first coach that ends up having to opt out. There are a lot of coaches that have pre-existing health conditions who are supposed to be on the bench who are going to end up doing the same thing Lance did, which is why I'm so proud of him, because he's the first one at a major school to do this, to say, you know what, I got to choose my family, I got to choose my health, I got to follow what my doctor is telling me to do.
I got to choose life. Hello.
Not even family.
My life.
And there's nobody who's going to argue against that in their right mind, which is what makes the whole process with how Chicago State has gone about this make it look even worse. It make them look real shady. Like, what are you trying to hide that you wouldn't just come out and say this? Hey, our coach is choosing, his family and his health. And what makes it even worse is that Mayor Lightfoot is speaking at the commencement address for Chicago State for the winter commencement. And Mayor Lightfoot has been all over, national news because of the protocol she's been putting in place for Chicago to try to protect themselves and encouraging people to be transparent. And here you have a major university in Chicago that is not being transparent about their most high-profile athletic person. Lance informed them last week. He informed them last week. So this thing should not have been coming out today.
It seems like I'm seeing some breadcrumbs with this now more. Okay.
Guys, we're joined by Jason Palmer. He is one half of the duo from the show What's Up Cuz. It's right here on SportsZone Chicago every Monday night at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Make sure you check it out every week. Him and his cousin Lance C. Irvin have done a phenomenal job. Have got nothing but A-list guests since they came on. And he's on talking about his cousin, Lance C. Irvin, who's decided not to coach. If you didn't know, Lance Irvin is the men's basketball coach, the head men's basketball coach over at Chicago State, and due to some prior health issues with it that he endured, he decided not to coach. So here's the crazy thing. He's not going to coach this year, which understandable. I mean, there's not even a question as to why he's not coaching. What if COVID doesn't slow down? What if people are still stuck on stupid? And because never underestimate the stupidity of people in large masses. This thing still lingers. Has he looked for beyond just this season, or has he taken basically one season at a time?
Well, I can tell you his doctors recommended that he not return to the bench until there's a vaccine for COVID and that the vaccine is widely distributed amongst the public.
Well, that opens up Pandora's box, because I don't know if you're a person of color, You damn sure ain't trying to take a vaccine from the U.S. government. Call me crazy, but that's another podcast. That's a whole nother podcast.
Oh, yeah. No, I've already made the decision. I'm not.
Me either. Me either.
I'm not taking it. It's not trialed enough for my comfort level. That's my first thing. I mean, most vaccines take a little bit of time to trial them.
2 years.
So I'm not comfortable with it. We're still in the midst of the pandemic, and we're learning so much more about the virus. It seems like every couple months, something new symptoms. We already know that it's mutated. I'm not taking anything. Whenever I have to take the flu shot, and I hate doing that. And every time I take the flu shot, I'm sick for 2 or 3 days after I take it. So I'm not taking anything that is not properly trialed. So that's just my stance on it. But yeah, this is unfortunate because Chicago State is under a lot of scrutiny, not just athletics, but academically how things generally are handled.
There you go, Vernon. There you go, Vernon. You know, that's what I'm talking about. Exactly. I feel you.
And I'm sorry. And so the part about this that I think is so difficult is the fact that obviously the players, you know, not being properly informed, they're probably already under duress just with being in this situation. You know what I mean? Like, this affects so many people by choosing not to handle it properly. So it's very unfortunate that, again, that I'm going to start with the athletic director didn't choose to kind of take a stand on this. And I know it's hard because it's like, what do you do? And there is no protocol for what you do in a pandemic. There isn't.
You didn't have a handbook from 1918? You can't go back to that handbook?
Right. Here's my thing. They haven't even released a statement saying he wouldn't be at the game today. The team has been down in Champaign. They're playing in the University of Illinois tournament, as we talked about Monday on What's Up Cuz. They're playing Ohio University today. They're scheduled to play U of I think Friday, and then North Carolina A&T on Saturday. But the team has been down there since Monday. And what basically happened was the reporters who were down there covering the tournament kind of noticed that Lance wasn't with the team.
Where's Coach?
and neither is one of his other assistants. And they're like, hey, you know, what's going on? You know, it's the first game of the season. A lot of time reporters try to talk to coaches. Hey, what are you thinking about your team this year? Well, they're noticing he's not there. And they're now asking questions. And the university—
I can't imagine reporters asking questions.
Right. And the university never responded and wasn't going to say anything about it. And I'm like, well, that's nuts. What were they waiting for the game to start? And then people be like, hey, where's the coach? I mean, this is just another example of that university not knowing what the hell they're doing.
Yeah, there really is no real explanation for the fact that they haven't properly addressed this. I mean, I don't understand especially and you're in a game. So I'm like, you're in a tournament and your head coach isn't there. So I'm like, how do you not make a public statement on this? And it's not like you didn't have enough time to do it. And here's the thing. It's not that in saying it. Here's why I don't get why they didn't do it. No one would take exception to this.
Nobody.
So what I'm figuring out is why not say something about it? Like, there's been a decision made due to health issues, and it makes perfect sense that he won't be, you know, at the games. You know, we're going to be modifying how he's working with it. Literally, it's him modifying how he's working with the team. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So why not say anything? I don't understand that.
So your question, Shawn, is about to be who's going to coach the team, right?
Yep. That's who is, yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, so you said him and the assistant are not there, right?
There's another assistant who's also not there. I won't get into why he's not there. That's up to the university to address that.
So how many coaches are with the team just when everyone's there?
The reporters who are down there said they saw 2 coaches with the team.
Wow, yeah. You know, basketball's got at least 4, usually 3, 4, minimum 3, but usually 4 and above.
So I'm assuming one of those 2 coaches will be the head coach. But seeing that the university has not said anything, we don't know. Maybe the refs know. Maybe the refs will find out when they go to the pregame meeting. Maybe that's when they'll find out.
Wow. That's odd.
Yeah, very odd situation that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But okay.
So you said cancer came back in 2012.
Yeah. And
you said it takes about 10 years, give or take, for his immune system to be healthy. So his immune system is well on its way to getting there, just most likely isn't at 100%.
Right. And I think, while the risk may be minimum, according to kind of what his doctor has kind of told him, there is still a risk.
There.
Right. There's still a risk, so it's kind of like, like if you ever had an infection or anything and you have the antibiotics and you got to take them for 10 days, but usually, you kind of stop the pain after the first 2 days, but they tell you to take the medicine completely until it runs out.
Yes.
I basically think his doctor is being, cautious. No, let's do the full 10 years here. Make sure your immune system is completely built back up and then kind of go from there.
And that makes sense. I mean, whenever someone's life is on the line and everything else is secondary and tertiary, you deal with what will save that person or those people's lives, which is, we had this discussion when it came to college football and now college basketball. When your athletes' lives are on the line, everything else falls by the wayside. And I'm glad that, I'm glad for Lance. I'm glad for his family, his immediate family and his extended family, that he decided to make this decision. Because, again, what do we talk about, Maya? We talked about earlier. There's going to be another Christmas next year. There's going to be another Halloween next year. There's going to be another. So just, Thanksgiving next year. So if you don't do it this year, guess what? It'll happen next year. And so him sitting out and taking care of his health, God willing, he'll be able to coach again next year, and then the following year, and then the following year. It's you got to look at things. What should I do now? And right now, he needs to step away because of the risk, minimal as it is. I mean, if he was 100%, that's a different story.
Right.
If there's a 1% chance, or 5% chance, or 20% chance, that's still a chance, and not one that you want to take with your life.
Well, and I mean, especially Shawn, when you consider he beat cancer twice. He beat cancer twice. You know how hard, what the chances are, especially with leukemia. We're not talking about skin cancer. We're talking about freaking leukemia. It's serious. And, Lance has beat it twice. So, it was an opportunity here really for the university to spin this in a very positive light. The university President Scott, made the decision. She was the first Division I president that made the decision back in February to not have her team travel to a tournament.
Yeah. Right.
So you were on the right track. Why not just follow up with that? What are you doing? And, I put this right at the feet of that athletic director, Elliot Charles, and he needs to answer questions. He's not responding to the media.
Well, the thing is, this is the scope of his job.
He's hiding behind their public relations department and Sabrina Lynn.
I don't get it, because it's his job. This is part of the scope of what he should be doing. Just like if they were dealing with incidents of COVID or whatever the case may be, he has to address it. So I don't understand what's so complicated about this, but
do your job.
It's really that simple.
Hey, Jason, thanks for coming on, buddy. I appreciate it. And, man, you know what? It's good to know that he'll be out for health concerns, and really taking care for preemptive measures, and it's, Lance is a great guy. I've been, very fortunate to have met him this year. If you guys came and did our show, and, it's good that I'm very happy. I'm very happy for him, and again, his family, and and the program, because now they're going to continue to have this guy around, after the season. And with his connections and his basketball knowledge, it won't be long before they're actually making some noise at Chicago State.
I agree. I'm just happy my cousin is going to be around. I've already lost a number of people this year, some due to COVID, some due to other health measures. And, it's hard when you're losing people. I've lost 3 people very close to me in the last, 4 months. So, I'm very grateful that Lance made this decision. I think he definitely made the right decision, and I'm going to support him. I know all of us at SportsZone Chicago, I know all of us are going to support him, and anybody that knows him is going to support him. So it's a good thing.
Absolutely, yes. I mean, I need him around to keep giving me grief.
I know, right?
Because what would I do without that? So yes.
Hey, Jay, thanks a lot, Papa. We'll see you. What are you doing for Thanksgiving?
Me and the wife, just me and the wife. Our Thanksgiving bill will be low this year because it's just dinner for 2.
Okay. You ordering out and having to bring in? Are you making dinner?
No, we're going to make dinner. We negotiated what we had to have. So we have to have macaroni and cheese. We got to have some sweet potatoes. We got to have some collard greens. And,
yes.
We
forgot that.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we got to have some collard greens. Won't do a cornbread, but we're going to do Hawaiian rolls as our bread.
Okay, yeah.
And then I'm going to make a key lime pie for dessert. And that's going to be our Thanksgiving. And we'll put a little turkey meat on there. Wife doesn't eat meat, so I don't know what she's going to use. But I'm going to give me one of them big turkey legs. And that's what
nice.
I'm
Oh, did you post it on Facebook? Because I saw that on Facebook. Someone had that's what they were having because it was a small thing and they were downsizing.
Right.
Like one big old giant turkey leg.
Yeah. I didn't post it, but that's a damn good idea.
Hey, great stuff. Well, listen, you have a happy Thanksgiving, you and the missus, and we will see you on Monday. We talked to the bosses, and the bosses were really nice, and they gave us Friday off.
So. Oh, all right, good. I'll see you Monday then.
All right. Hey, thanks a lot, buddy. We appreciate you coming on to talk about the news. All right. Wow. So listen, let's take a last break of the show, and on the other side of the break, we have more sports conversations. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here, Shawn and Maya on SportsZone Chicago.
BoomerNaturals.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone. The Bears continue to get ready for this Sunday's matchup against the Green Bay Packers. 7:20 kickoff this Sunday night at Lambeau Field. Still no answers about who the starting quarterback will be. Head coach Matt Nagy continues to say it's a wait-and-see approach for Sunday. Mitchell Trubisky continues to deal with a shoulder injury suffered in Week 8 against the Saints. The hip injury to Nick Foles won't land him on the IR, but he's still questionable. 3 NFL matchups on tap for Thanksgiving. 12:30 Eastern, the Lions play host to the Texans. 4:30 Eastern, Washington visits Dallas. And at 8:20, the Steelers put their 10-0 record on the line at home against the Baltimore Ravens. Jed Hoyer is the new president of baseball operations for the Cubs. Introduced on Tuesday, he replaces Theo Epstein. Boomer Naturals, your source for 3-layer protective face masks. Breathable protection for adults and kids. Save 20% with promo code SPORTS at BoomerNaturals.com. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
Shop incredible Macy's Black Friday specials right now while supplies last and get the holidays' hottest deals before they're gone. Like cozy sweaters, just $39.99. Refresh the bedrooms in your home with 65% off Charter Club Damask and Damask Designs sheets and bedding. Then cozy up with matching pajama sets for the family, only $19.99 and under. Right now at Macy's. Plus, buy online and get contact-free curbside pickup or pickup in store today. Details at Macys.com/pickup. Savings off sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year, automatically, dollar for dollar, with no limit on how much you can earn. Extra cash? Come on, how amazing is that? In fact, it's even more amazing when you realize all the places where Discover is accepted. 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. So when it comes to Discover, get used to hearing yes more often. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2020 Nielsen Report limitations apply.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago on this pre-Thanksgiving Hump Day edition. And we just got off. If you just missed it, we were just on with Jason Palmer. He's the co-host of the hottest show on SportsZone Chicago. That is the What's Up Cuz podcast. And I'll tell you what, those jokers are getting everybody, dude. Lord have mercy.
Hey, and we should be we should have those interviews posted. Their show on Monday was great. So they had on NBA official and Chicago native Mark Davis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
good interview. That was a very, very, very good interview. And they had on Chris Collins, Northwestern men's basketball head coach.
Yep.
Very good. And then Kendrick Prince, who covers the Illini football and basketball, kind of talking about the upcoming season and the team and stuff. Good show. Go check it out. Remember, people should subscribe to our YouTube channel, SportsZone Chicago. So you can catch all the shows are posted there. But by now, you should have downloaded the app, hopefully, because it's all things SportsZone Chicago. You can listen to shows live. You can watch the shows in app. And then if you go into the More section, the videos has all the former shows that are on YouTube. So if you want to make life easy, you can just download the app and voila, everything's there. Not to mention, we have an awesome blog where if a story's happening, we're posting it.
Yep, so, Clarence Council is our dude, man.
Yeah, he's a social media guru. So I'm just saying, just download the app, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon stores. Just download the app and boom, you're all set to go with us. Take us everywhere.
Well, the there's, you always get some people who kind of get a bad rap just because of the way you see them on the field. Okay. They talk a lot. They're braggadocious. People don't like him because he talks a lot of ish, for whatever reason. Jalen Ramsey kind of is kind of in there. He's not full blown, but he's one of those guys that a lot of people don't like. He's a cornerback for the Los Angeles Rams, one of the better cornerbacks in the NFL. What he did the other day, I thought was just awesome. He didn't mention it, which I love even more. It was, when you start doing stuff like this, word gets out most of the time, and then the media comes, especially if you're a celebrity. So what he decided to do, what he did is he bought $20,000 worth of gift cards for Vons grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And they were given out in South Central LA and Inglewood. So they were able, so tons of people were able to go and buy and have enough food for this Thanksgiving meal that's for tomorrow. I thought that was awesome, especially in this pandemic. It's tough without a pandemic. Okay, but when you have a lot of people who are losing jobs, whose whose hours are getting reduced, in unemployment only runs 6 months because they pay you for 12 months. They double it up for 6, so you're done after 6 months, and you got to wait till the following year. So there's a lot of people who are struggling, and when you're in a group that doesn't make a lot of money, and a demographic that doesn't make a lot of money to begin with,
yes,
your unemployment checks are not very big.
No.
And so and getting food could be an issue, and you didn't want to. He didn't want, and I'm talking Jalen Ramsey, didn't want those guys to not be able to have a Thanksgiving meal.
Yes.
And I think that's awesome. My perception of him has changed. I have a lot more respect for him now.
And it's a lot. Like you said, sometimes a person's reputation precedes them. And it doesn't mean there still isn't that vein of kindness that runs through them. It's just they have a very demonstrative type personality, and people tend to think that's just who they are. Everybody has layers to them. Everyone has a story. So I think, very appropriate timing. If you've been paying attention to the news, you've already heard that food banks are saying that we are absolutely stretched thin, that we don't often have enough. So I'm like, if you want to help, if you want to do something meaningful, reach out to your local food bank, see if they need a donation. Sometimes they're just taking cash because of COVID. They don't want to take the food because then they got to sanitize it and everything, which I get that safety measure. They're able then to go out and buy food to kind of keep stocking because so many people legitimately don't have food. I'm not talking about for Thanksgiving. Like they are struggling like day to day to keep food on their table. And like in a country where we have so many resources, there's enough that we should be able to legitimately help everybody. The empathy part this is huge to me right now. So, the next thing is going to be the point of focus is going to be Christmas. And I hate when I hear people do things like, I got a loan for Christmas. And I want to be like, I want to slap you for that. You're going into debt for one holiday. That's a commercial holiday. And that's not even what it's supposed to be about. But then people feel like with their kid, and I get it. I totally get it. I'm not going to complain because I never had a bad Christmas a day in my life, period. But at the same time, during these tough times, I want people to keep in mind what's important. Having a place to stay, putting food on your table. And if it only means
opening your eyes in the damn morning, that's an important thing.
The gift of life is so pertinent right now for everybody who thinks that it's not.
Yeah.
Being healthy is huge. So if you're looking for another way to be helpful, look at organizations that maybe are looking for toy donations, things like that, food donations. So if you have a little extra to give it. Be kind. It's the small things. If everybody gave just a little bit, imagine what we'd be able to accomplish.
Yeah, I agree. And just, what? And I can't argue with you, Maya. I was an only child as well. So I got, and my mom worked 2 jobs. So she worked 2 jobs. We were a stereotypical Mexican family. We had 6, 7 people in the apartment. So so we weren't as bad as other families because, basically 4 people working, more than enough can cover everything. But still, I didn't have a bad Christmas ever. And
I had the best Christmases, and I was the only child as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew everything under the tree was for me.
Yeah.
And one better, I knew there wasn't, I'm assuming there's no children listening. I knew there was not this fictitious man who was giving away free stuff. Okay. I know he said that before. I knew a long time ago that wasn't true because I caught my mom doing it. But because she took such joy in it, I never told her.
Oh, you never told her you busted her? Like,
yeah, I just went. I knew it was suspicious in the first place. I'm like, what? This fat white man? What? We didn't even have a chimney, so I knew that was.
You're gonna come down a chimney. We ain't got a chimney.
Right. I was one of those inquisitive children. Like, this doesn't quite add up. You're trying to tell me this person can make it all the way around the world and give everybody gifts. And how is he getting into our house? I mean, I was that kid. Seriously. So, I doubted it from day one. But hey, whoever was dropping gifts was doing a good job, so to speak.
So we lived in a 2-flat, and we lived on the second floor, and we had a fireplace, but it was a non-working fireplace. Like, we didn't have it, like if you looked out, it was sealed. So we couldn't even like use it.
Well,
you know what I mean?
There was a chimney, but it was related to the furnace. Like, it had nothing to do with, we didn't have like a fireplace.
Uh-huh.
And again, I was that kid that was doing the deductive reasoning. He's awfully big to be going down that really small chute. And now, why is he not dirty? I was that kid, always overthinking everything. So when other kids would say it, I'd be like, well, be really specific when you're asking, Santa for your stuff. Because, you can probably get it if you ask for it. So my list was always like on point. Can you give this to Santa, please? These 3 right here are the ones that I really, really want. I was that kid. But, and I grew up in a house most of my life too, but it was just holidays. Like, I don't know what it's like to not have something. But I also grew up in a family where we always gave to people. Like, my grandma would have like homeless people come have dinner with us. And when I was a kid, I'd be like, why? Why? And she would put me a check like, well, who is? It's a guest. Why is we're sharing dinner with them? Because when you have enough, you share. Now, back then, this is when you could do that. Now you let a homeless person in your house and you might end up dead.
Yeah.
Or come back, all your shit be gone. But we would do that. Like,
I was going to say exactly that.
we would always like give stuff away. Like, we had to every year like give toys away. She's like, you get new stuff every year. She goes, that's sitting in the box. And I had to be the only child to have a fit. Like, but it's mine. I don't. So then she just started giving stuff away. She's like, either you can pick what you want to give away, or I'm gonna give it away.
I'll pick it.
I was like,
choice is yours or mine.
What kind of monkey business is this? You gonna give me some and then turn around and tell me I got to give it away? But it was fine, eventually. But I learned about sharing and giving to those who had less. Yeah. So I mean, every year I go in my closet when I've given so many clothes away and shoes, and I get we do food drives at my job all the time. We actually have these portable, and I think this is awesome. We have, I don't know if they do this in the city. This guy here started portable food banks. So they're like these little housed units, like cabinets. They're clear. They open up. They probably have about 4 or 5 shelves in it. It's about perishable goods. So anything, you got to be able to open it. It's dry. And it's meant for, if you're homeless, you can walk up and just get something to eat.
Oh.
So we have them outside the hospital. You see them by the library. They're all around the city. And what happens is organizations agree to keep them filled and stocked. So you'll get everything. I mean, I'm not saying it's always the most nutritious stuff, but you'll get like cans of soup that can be open, Vienna sausages, anything that's already like you can eat it, like you don't make. So they're not going to put like, a box of stuffing in there. I mean, you could, but then I need other ingredients to make it. Right.
Micro.
Right. So the idea is that it's something that you can automatically open and just eat it, stuff like that. I think occasionally I do see cups of soup and like you put the water in. They figure maybe you have access to it. But those are all around the city, at least within Joliet, and people agree to keep them stocked. And people legitimately keep them stocked. I'll be honest, I've seen plenty of people go in and get stuff. And I'm like, that's a small, simple thing to do that doesn't cost anybody a whole lot to do it, to be honest.
Yeah, it really, really doesn't. You think about all you.
How about like raiding the store and just giving it all away? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Robin Hood over there?
No. I mean, not raiding the store, but like going and purchasing stuff, not raiding it, not robbing it.
Okay.
Like raiding the shelves, you know what I'm saying? Buying up a bunch of stuff, but then giving it away. Like this smash and grab like mentality with some people, it kills me. It kills me.
I mean, it's like you got Toys for Tots is going on now. That's been going on for years.
Mm-hmm.
I know when school starts, a lot of people do book bag drives. So like they ask you to buy certain things. So when kids, maybe their parents can't get them what they need for school. So I mean, clearly there are people there who know there's a need, but I think the need's even greater right now. It's really greater right now. And I'm just hoping to God we don't have a really bad winter, because a lot of shelters, because of COVID, are limiting who they let in. I mean,
the amount of people,
amount of people because of spacing, and it's like just not enough. And again, I'm not even sure if we've given this thought, like we have to figure out things because we don't want people to literally be sleeping outside in the cold. I mean, this is challenging on many levels. And this is when I tell people you have to reach deep and go beyond the idea of just compassion and being apathetic. You have to literally, you have to have empathy. Sympathy is not enough right now to help us get through this.
Yeah, that's a good point, Maya. And because you're on the front lines, that's your real.
And I'm going to tell you something. Without telling you numbers, Shawn, it's not a joke. It's a lot of people. Now, I will tell you this. I realize the numbers are what they are because more people are being tested. Before, in the beginning, the first time, we didn't test as many people. But because we are, oh my God. When I tell you the amount of people, when I go on just a shift that have COVID, I was like, I walk through the ER and count rooms. It's bad. And it isn't now just asymptomatic people. We're also seeing people like the symptoms are different too. So it's serious, and I want people to really take it seriously. And that doesn't mean everyone's going to die from it, but you see what it's the issues that it's causing within our society right now. Economic issues. I mean, society, people are struggling, can't be with their families and friends. It's the first time that I think people have begun to value relationships with people. Because
I'll tell you what, yeah.
Don't take it for granted. You know what I'm saying? We took for granted that we could see our friends and our family whenever we wanted to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, I told you I had for those of you who didn't know, I had COVID, and it didn't stop me from doing the show because I'm here and Maya's at her, where she lives, but I take care of my mom, and I had to be in these 4 rooms. It was okay when I first got it because I can go hang out in the yard, I go hang in the garage, and because she doesn't go there because she doesn't drive, so these are places that she doesn't go, so it was fine. But after a while, it's like, man, like I couldn't see her, and I hugged her for the first time a few days ago when I finally got my results, and I'm not going to bullshit you. A tear dropped my eye. You're right there. You're 25 feet away from me. She'd be by the in her couch. I'd open the door. We'd have a conversation from 25 feet away, and masks on. Why do I need a mask? I'm like, because it could travel through the air, Mom. And asking, she's 75 years old. I couldn't take that chance.
You can't. And by the way, I'm gonna tell you something. COVID is an equal opportunity disease.
No
virus.
Discrimination.
It discerns on no. It's out to get everybody, regardless of age, race, gender. It doesn't matter. And here's the thing: for all the stats, there's nothing that can tell us there are high risk people. But guess what? I look at everybody as being a potential high risk because I'm gonna tell you something. People have gotten and passed away, and we're still scratching our head like why they died.
Yeah. My boy Big Rob passed away, and I'm still tripping over that.
I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know how much it got into the news, but Tom Thayer's his nephew passed away of COVID. Dane.
Wow.
I'm good friends with Tom's brother because they own a restaurant here in Joliet, the Thayers. Totally unexpected. You know what I'm saying? So it's just don't have the mindset that you're invincible, that you can't get it because you can't. You can get it easily. That's the thing. It doesn't take a whole lot to get it. So the whole washing your hands, wearing your mask, doing your sanitizing and stuff like that, it's important.
Yeah. Well, guys, listen, you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving. 3 hours has come and gone. Unbelievable. We want to thank our guest, JJ Stankovich, coming on, talking a lot of Bears football with us. Great stuff. We also want to thank our executive producer, Elliot Baez. We want to thank Clarence Council, who is our social media guru. And of course, we want to thank our guy. You see him underneath us right here. He is the guy who makes it all run. The Wiz, the man behind the curtain, our Puerto Rican Swiss Army knife, Ivan Vargas. It was great for, Wednesdays, me and Maya, we go at it. It's awesome. And what did Vernon say? Because I love Maya Wednesdays.
The madness shows up on Wednesdays. No.
Like a hurricane and then leaves.
Yep. Outgone. Yes.
Well, listen, guys, you have a happy Thanksgiving. We will see you on Monday. And so for my producer, Ivan Vargas.
All right, guys, check us out tomorrow. The Basement Monsters Game Day podcast will be having a Thanksgiving show. All 3 games will be broadcast on SportsZone Chicago.
And for my lovely co-host, Maya Kai.
Au revoir, mon amis. Tout à l'heure.
Guys, I'm your boy, the Superback, Shawn Sierra. We will see you in about 5 days or so on Monday. Back with tons of sports. Talk about how the Bears got their ass kicked again against Green Bay. So, for Ivan, for Maya, I'm your boy, the Superback, Shawn Sierra. Folks, we out.